Imagine a hero shooter where the hero never showed. Imagine a game with a player base that just refused to grow. A 5v5 hero shooter with gameplay that's just okay, and characters that remind me of Tupperware and white bread. No, I'm not talking about Overwatch. Please stop bringing up Overwatch. This game is not Overwatch. It's actually something else. Imagine a game with a story that no one watches. A game that costs $40 that Sony totally botches. It has all my favorite characters, like Lemmy, Dawn, and Craig. At least, I think that's what their names are. I never bothered to check. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe as a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Boop-a-doop-ah, deep-a-doop-da, scoop-a-boop-ah, beep-beep-beep-beep-beep, phlegm. Concord was about as good as accidentally peeing on your own leg. Concord, we're here to lay you to rest. We know you tried your best. You copied so much cool stuff just to turn out lame in the end. I'll never forget my favorite moments, like when Hot Sauce Guy jumped. Remember when he jumped? That was really cool. A rat just ran by on my desk, and even the rat didn't want to play Concord, even though I blessed him with the chance. The $40 he could afford, but the rat just stared on in a trance. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. Rat, 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 rat. Concord's dead. The Costco guys made more money than you. They were just on Jimmy Fallon too. Imagine Lennox being on Jimmy Fallon, because I literally can't. The rat on my desk is eating all my Cheerios and grapes, and also Concord is dead. Concord like the grave, your legacy is safe as a game that no one played, and a price that no one paid. Rat-a-ta-ta, beep-a-da, boop. Skim, milk, the rat fleet, doo-da, doo-da. A guy said he really liked it, and then a bunch of rats ate his face. That's the sound he made when Concord passed away. I wish things turned out different, but either way I'm getting paid. Concord's dead, Concord's dead, and boy is my face red. When the game came out, everybody overslept. Concord's dead, Concord's dead. Holy crap, Lois, Concord's dead. When the game out, people played everything else instead.
I heard the old man say, "Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow ye will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Oh, the wind was foul and the sea ran high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. She shipped it green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. I hate to sail on this rotten tub. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. No grog allowed and rotten grub, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. We swear by her oath for want of more. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. But now we're through, so we'll go on shore, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Now you're ready.
No, it's no, we're not ready. We're not ready. I didn't mean to start another one. Damn it.
Our boots and our clothes, boys, are all in the pond.
What does that mean? What does it mean for your clothes to be in the pond? What is a paw?
Roll and go. The anchor's on board and the cable's all
So that's
stored.
good.
To be rollicking randy dandy ho.
Imagine that you are a serious pirate. And your name is Randall. And then all of your buddies start singing a song calling you Randy Dandy. I'd be upset. I'd be a little upset. I'd be like, guys, respect. Respect. But no, they don't care. They don't care. That's one thing I've heard about pirates. Not that considerate. I'll tell you what. Seems to be a pattern, frankly. Seems like they don't really care too much about nothing, no how. Tell you what, right here, look here, listen. How are you guys doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Revengerous, thank you for the sub over on Twitch to get us going. Thank you, my friend. Loxy, every time I read your name, Loxy, I want to, like, you know, Robin Hood Men in Tights. Robin Hood Men in Tights, the Sheriff of Rottingham. Men, I'm going to risk being put on a list. Men in Tights. Robin of Locksley. Is there just a recording of him saying it? Oh, hold on. I have to find it. Otherwise, we're going to get copyright struck. Maybe here?
Had a good night's sleep. Bad news.
The bad news in a good way. Well, here goes.
I'm not gonna be able to find it. It's gonna get so copyright struck, but it's so worth it.
See you hang! Your brother Richard! Crap out of me and my name. You know, he just.
Where is that?
Wait till you hear this. I just bumped into Robin of Locksley. He's back.
Robin of Locksley. He didn't say it the normal way. Normally, when he's doing this, he does Robin of Locksley. Locksley. And it always makes me think of that when I hear Loxy. I'm always like, Robin of Loxley. Locksley. Anyway, sorry, random ADHD moment. How are you guys though? Are you good? Hopefully you are good. I am good too. Go team. Go team. I am glad that we are good. Let me see where we're at. MF Hui. MH Fui, I think. MF Fui? I'm not sure. Thank you for the sub, my friend. Gavin, thank you for that. God of War, Lao Fei having a physical disc confirms it for next year. Doesn't know. You think it'll be early or late 2027? I suspect Lao Fei is coming early 27. I think like February or March, maybe as late as May. It's possible, but I think it's going to be earlier in 2027 than some expect, because I think that right now the game plan is that we have God of War Lao Fei. I almost said Locksley. God of War Lao Fei in early 27, Intergalactic late 27. That is then a cross-generational game that also comes with a PlayStation 6 port. That's what I think they're doing. I think they're doing the Last of Us Part 2 thing. I think that's what they're going to do. They're just lining it up like that. Because for some damn reason, Sony is insistent on actually doing the next generation next year. They've had investors ask them, why not delay it? They've had people ask that. They are insistent that they're going to just go ahead with it. My suspicion is that they know that costs aren't going to drop. So they're like, just get it out there. Let the whales and the people that like are irresponsible with money, YouTubers, I think they're just going to have them buy it up, and whoever can buy it will buy it. They know, like, this is the other thing for Sony. If they launch it at $1,200, it will still sell out to scalpers, but they still get their money. Are they really that worried about that? Like, at that point, are they that worried? They still sold it, you know? If they're just trying to move the hardware, are they that worried? Because let's be real, it's going to sell out. Even the Steam machine freaking sold out, and everybody agreed that was too expensive. God of War Loxley. Dude, if they did a God of War, but it was like Robin Hood inspired mythology, and then also done with the vibes of Men in Tights, I think we're on it. Todd's Tears is fire. Todd's Tears is fire. The sadness overwhelms. I do. Okay, I have to show you these. I was gonna wait, but these are too funny. Okay, these are too freaking funny, and I cannot not acknowledge these. Okay. Tangent that I think is funny. Hopefully you find is funny too. Maybe you won't. Maybe you're gonna think this is cringe, but I'm gonna show it to you anyways. Sorry, not sorry. One of the biggest pieces of news last week was that Todd Howard had a bad day. He had a terrible, no good, awful bad day where he lost control of his babies. I think it's pretty clear after Asha stepped in. Asha said, Todd, what the hell do you mean that Fallout 5 is going to take 20 years between releases? What the hell do you mean? Todd Drew, Toddathy, Todd Shua, I don't know other versions of Todd. I think she said, what the hell do you mean Fallout 5 is going to take 20 years? What are you doing? Elder Scrolls 6 is still years away. Are you insane? And I think she came in and was like, Toddrick, that's a good one. I think she came in and was like, I understand that Phil used to let you do whatever. He was Daddy Warbucks. He said, do whatever you need to do, Todd. He'd come in, he'd get you the baby pool. He'd like put some decorative snacks around it. He'd light the chamomile candle. Like I get it. He was all about pampering Toddrew and Toddathy. Toddette. That's good. I get that. Asha does not seem to give a what's the term? Give a shit. Forgive my French. I don't think she cares at all. I think she's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're right, the candle. I forgot the candle. I don't think she cares at all. I think she's like, get your act together. So she came in, basically took the IP away, is handing it to Obsidian, and I think she's revving up for like ZeniMax Online to sunset Elder Scrolls Online and kickstart another Elder Scrolls project that's new, because I think she sees the recurrent revenue from like ESO and Fallout 76. Those are fine to have. Those are nice. But I think she's more interested in big, exciting stuff that's going to move consoles. And she knows that another update to Fallout 76 doesn't move consoles. That's my suspicion, okay? Like, let's be honest. Who has ever bought hardware for a new season update to a live service game that came out 10 years ago? I'll wait. I don't think anybody, because live service updates, almost just by their very nature, are not that exciting. It's like, oh, cool. Yeah. Interesting. Whatever. Even if it's for a game that you like, you know? I just don't think it moves consoles. I don't think it does much. And she, like, her whole thing is to rebuild the platform with consoles, with hardware, and you can't do that with live service updates that are not that exciting. Someone has, surely there's some guy out there that bought a game for like the Fallout 76 update or whatever. But anyway, I think this is probably what's happening. But the point is, she took the keys away from Todd and is handing them to somebody else while he figures his crap out. To be clear, people at Bethesda Game Studios who previously were seen as untouchable under Phil Spencer, they were also laid off. People in Maryland were laid off. people in Austin, or Dallas rather. Dallas and Austin were both laid off. I'm not clear if people in Montreal were laid off. That is it more iffy. I haven't seen clear reporting on that. But people were laid off within BGS. And again, when Phil was in charge, they were seen as untouchable. You don't touch BGS. You don't touch the golden gooses. Even if the golden goose has not laid an egg in 20 years, you know, or I guess 15, 16 years. Anyway. Well, I guess, you know, to be fair, we can say Fallout 4 was a winner. Okay. Fallout 4, I think, was a winner, even if at launch it kind of was more mixed in terms of core fan reception. It did still sell remarkably well. So we'll give them that. 11 years. Okay. But out of all of this stuff that happened last week came a new meme format that I find hilarious. And I wanted to share it with you. Okay. Because I really think it's quite funny. The first one I saw to do this was Dukerno. And he did a lot of them. I'm going to show you just some of them. But it's this little meme format where they just simply have Todd talking to Asha. I believe this was at the Xbox Mixer that happened back in June. Yours truly was not invited. Almost certainly because Todd was there. Okay. I get it. No, well, okay. We talked to them, but they were like having us jump through a bajillion hoops. It was like, no, like you could come, but like, you know, you gotta, you can't bring any of your team. And so just be you. And like, we can try to make it work. Like it was clear that they were trying to find ways to like prevent us from coming. So it was effectively like, you're not welcome. But anyway, this was from that Mixer. Asha's talking to Todd briefly. And as you can see here, there's some lip sync matched dialogue. It's not really 20 years between Fallout games. We just did a collab with Warzone and had Fallout in that. And we also have the TV show and mobile games. So the core audience is served, really. What's messed up is that that's probably what he is actually saying. Mike said this one. And you know, the engine, in a way, we almost have to make a new engine for every new game that we do. And we had the old engine and we took that and we recreated it and called it the Creation Engine. So you see what I did there? Yes, technically it's still the same engine, but... There's more. We're actually pumping content out nonstop, you know? Just last week, we added 3 reskins of Power Armor to the Atomic Shop, and we put out a DLC 2 years after 2 years for our 4,000 remaining Starfield players. I sort of view updates like that as game releases themselves, which he probably does. Yeah, so after the community... After that, the community started calling me God Howard. I don't think it got to my head. Anyway, that time I met Elon Musk... You know, Asha, I actually was the first person to sell a microtransaction with my horse armor. Fortnite really has me to thank for their success. Really. I personally view every Fallout 76 update as its own brand new release in the franchise. Kind of does, though. Every time you ask him about a Fallout 5, he's like, well, look at Fallout 76. Elder Scrolls 6, well, our plan was to re-release Starfield for another 10 years and then get around to it. You know, we'll get there eventually. Yeah, but our gameplay loop was really good in 2002. Updating it would take time away from break room trivia and ESO skin brainstorming lunches, you know? Break room trivia and ESO skin brainstorming lunches. That's basically, I think, most of what's going on there, apparently. So anyway, we told them that they would get a canvas bag, but we didn't actually do the math on it. It turns out the only way that we could afford enough canvas for the press release kits. Anyway, we found a company in China to provide us nylon that looks pretty similar. So we almost have Fallout Shelter 2 ready for launch. Sure do, Asha. It's going to be great. People are going to love it. So we spent about 7 years upgrading to the Creation Engine 2. It was a huge undertaking and time investment because we need these tools to upgrade to make our game. So anyway, we made one game with it and now we're starting to work on Creation Engine 3, which is literally what happened. Dude, they previously, I'm not joking, I made an 8-hour video on Starfield, okay? I have done more homework on this than anybody should have ever done. They said when Starfield launched that that was the tech foundation for all the games that would come after, and that Elder Scrolls 6 was going to be built using the same tools that were used for Starfield. That it was going to use Creation Engine 2. That's what was said. What happened? Starfield launched. I mean, no matter what you think, whether the game is good or bad or fun or mediocre, mind-bending or not, it is, without a doubt, unanimously, people agree, technologically, it's behind the curve. It just is. Like, it is not on par with what other companies are doing. The fact that it is an engine designed for open world games, and you cannot explore an open world without load screens constantly, that in and of itself makes it antiquated compared to everything else, which is like pretty clear. Now, having said that, to their credit, it seems like they are working on overhauls. But now the narrative, when Bethesda has talked to media, specifically after the Fallout show, they've said that they are working on the next generation of the Creation Engine, that they are going to effectively do Creation Engine 3. So like it's a joke, but it's not actually a joke. Like they literally are just going to be like, okay, well actually Creation Engine 2 wasn't that big of a leap compared to the competition, so we need to do another leap. I'm sure right now internally their big thing is figuring out how on earth to either minimize load screens or get rid of them. I don't think they can get rid of them. I've talked to modders who like know this stuff backwards and forwards, and they have said to me that like you can't really fix it. It's just how the engine works, where every time you load in, it sets the stage, and it's almost like a chessboard, you know, where like there is the center of the chessboard. No matter what is on the chess set, no matter or what's on the board, no matter how the pieces are arranged, it always loads in with the same basic grid and then fills in from there. And the problem with the Creation Engine is if you start to break out of that grid, stuff breaks, specifically physics and simulation stuff and things like that. So you have to have load screens. So you go inside a building, this chessboard goes away, another one is loaded in. That's where the scene plays out. Same with each and every single map, right? That's how I understand it, at least. And you can't really just undo that. It's just not. It's not that simple. It would require massive, massive overhauls to the underbelly of how the engine works. Now, is it impossible? Nothing is impossible. Is it ridiculously expensive and a crazy undertaking for something like that? Yes. And whether or not Todd wants to do that, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see with Elder Scrolls 6. We'll see. Quote, we actually see a great deal of value in our fans missing our IP. And hey, maybe they age out, but the stories they tell their grandchildren will fuel our next demographic. Yeah. The grandchildren, those are the real players. Those are the ones you really want. Those are the real ones. When you actually look at the numbers, we have far more Fallout Shelter players. So Obsidian can do Fallout, but I want to do the next Candy Crush. Like, again, these are jokes, but like, are they though? Because again, when Todd talks about Fallout, he is very insistent on not just discussing the single player. In fact, it seems like he doesn't want to discuss the single player narrative games. He wants to discuss Fallout 76, the TV show, everything else. Like, he has shifted out of being the guy that makes the single player games, and now he is the franchise guy. He's left being the director and become the executive producer. And it explains a lot of his creative decisions, because he makes a lot more money as executive producer. Tell you what. But that's not what the core fan base wants. The thing with Asha, though, is that Asha seems pretty clear that, no, if we want to blow this up and make it super successful, we've got to do things differently. Because no matter what you think about these decisions they're making, I think we can all agree what they've been doing is not working. And they only got an 84. So, I mean, were we really the bad guys? The only reason they met the deadline was because they just asset flipped all of our work from Fallout 3. Yeah, suck it, Obsidian. Suck it. It's so stupid. I love it so much. Michael, you want a new Fallout game, but we have the tremendously successful Fallout 76, and that should hold people over until we get around to Fallout 5. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Stop complaining. We've got stuff for you. We have a product for people that don't like Fallout 76. It's called Fallout 360. It's called Fallout 3. That's literally what they're doing. Asha wants Todd gone entirely due to his trouble. Well, so here's the thing at the end of this whole diatribe. And this is what's actually causing some meltdowns within different factions of these fan bases. Asha is not a gamer. That is clear, okay? She came from Instacart. She came from Microsoft's core AI teams. She is intentionally she has intentionally been put in position as an outsider. And that is a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, it means that she doesn't know about games. She doesn't necessarily care about games. She's not a gamer, right? So there's that concern, because we've seen when studios and companies are run by business people like Jim Ryan, who have no idea what's going on within gaming. They're super out of touch. They don't care to get in touch with the community, and then they steer the ship straight into the iceberg, right? As a guy that likes like ships, steering straight into an iceberg wouldn't actually be that big of a deal. Actually, fun fact, if the Titanic had rammed straight into the iceberg, it would have stayed afloat. The problem was that they turned and then it scraped multiple watertight compartments along the edge. So that's what flooded it. If they had just rammed the iceberg, they would have been fine. So you don't actually, the worst thing would be Jim Ryan steering and then last minute trying to pivot away from the iceberg. But anyway, Luke, no one cares. Sorry. Anyway, I think it's a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, you might have a Jim Ryan. Okay, nerd. You got me. You have, downside is that when you have somebody that's not in touch with the gaming community, they do things that are like, what the hell are you doing? You could have asked any of us. They do concords, right? The flip side and the potential benefit, Mr. I know boats, the potential benefit of having an outsider is that she is not weighed down with the biases that come with exposure to the industry and being a fan and all that. I think Phil was primarily burdened by two things. Number one, I think Phil was too nice. Okay. Secondly, I think he was a true fan, and that at times caused him to not see how bad things really were. I'm going to tell my wife. That is like, I think really that is where a lot of these problems came from. Because on the one hand, Phil was too nice to step in and be like, Todd, we are not taking 20 years between Fallout games. Either you figure out how to produce games faster, or I'm giving the IP to somebody else to do supplemental games in between. That should have been decided back in 2020 or 2021, whenever the deal closed with ZeniMax. That should have been done back then. Probably, honestly, we should have had 1 or 2 Fallout games in the last 5 years, if Phil were like not trying to be so nice and protect Todd and Todd's feelings. Secondly, because he's such a fan, I think he's struggled with coming in and being like doing the hard thing, even when it's with respected or storied franchises. The fact that Halo is in the state that it's in after all of these years and how many hundreds of millions of dollars is a disgrace. It is ridiculous. It's outrageous. But I think because he's like, but it's Halo. I can't gut what now is Halo Studios or 343. I can't do that. I can't fire everybody in there. Imagine the bad PR. I can't do that. It's Halo. But that's what needed to happen. And same thing, I think, because he was a fan or fanboy, whatever you want to say, of like Todd Howard and what he did at Bethesda back in his heyday, I think that clouded his judgment. And so he was like, just let Todd do whatever he wants. And so because there were no standards or expectations, Todd has just taken for freaking ever to deliver pretty mediocre products that have left his own core fan base viciously starved, It doesn't work. So I think that Asha, being a total outsider, presents a real opportunity to step in and do things in a fundamentally different way, which I think could be, pretty clearly, what they were doing before was not working. So maybe it's exactly what they need, is for her to just step in and be like, no, you don't get to spend 20 years on Fallout. No, you don't get to spend 19 years on Elder Scrolls 6. That's ridiculous. We're not doing that. I don't care who you're Todd Howard. Cool. God Howard, all the memes, whatever. You're not spending 20 years between releases in our biggest franchises. Are you insane? Like, again, just imagine if another IP, Call of Duty or something that makes a lot of money, Like, just imagine if they were like, we are not going to release a Call of Duty game for 20 years. A mainline Call of Duty game for 20 years because there's one guy that wants to stay in charge of it and he doesn't want to have other teams take a whack at it. You'd be like, are you insane? Are you outside of your mind? What is going on? Like, what? That might help them unironically. Well, so here's where we're going to be when all is said and done. So what I think is happening is that Asha's stepping in and she's going to codify. This is kind of a double entendre. She's going to codify Bethesda's IP. I think what she's looking at is how Call of Duty does things, where she sees that they have multiple big studios. And what they do is they pump out a new Call of Duty every year. She probably is not thinking a new Fallout every year. But I think she's looking at it and being like, hey, back in the day, Ubisoft grew to like a multi-billion-dollar market cap on basically just Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. We're talking pre-Rainbow Six, okay? They blew up in terms of growth and revenue and everything by pumping out annual Assassin's Creed games that were open world adventure games. That's effectively what Fallout is. I know people like to say that they're RPGs. I mean, are they? You know, the old school, yeah, but like more modern ones, like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, like maybe not. But I think she's looking at it. She's like, at the very least, we could pump these out every couple of years or every few years. Have a few different studios in charge of them. Like Obsidian is doing Fallout in 2028 or 2029. And then BGS does the one in 2032. And in 2035, they come out with another one. I think that's what she's doing. And she wants to do that with the Elder Scrolls as well. And she wants to just get them on a clear and consistent schedule. And that is so different from how things have been forever that it's jarring and people are like, no way, you can't do that. Bethesda makes Fallout. Yes, I mean, barely. Sort of. Do they though? Like, sort of. Not really though. Like, I think she's looking at it and she's like, this is just what it has to be. Now, I'm of the mind that more games are better than no games. And I'm biased here. Okay, sure, I've made my opinions clear. I'm not that confident in BGS's abilities anyway. So if Obsidian wants to take a whack at it, bring it on. If ZeniMax Online wants to take a whack at Elder Scrolls, whatever the spinoff is called, hell yeah, let's give it a shot. Why not? Why not? You know, get some fresh eyes on it, get some fresh talent on it, some people that want to take a whack at it. Why not? Like, I think honestly, part of the concern has been that you get another team to make a Fallout game, you're going to end up with the Fallout New Vegas situation again, which is that then people that love what Obsidian did don't like what BGS did. Just like there's people that love what, Treyarch does with Call of Duty. But then the next time that another team takes a whack at it, Infinity Ward is doing something. Or what is it? Infinity Ward, Raven, I don't know, Call of Duty. Anyway, like whatever it is, you're going to end up in situations where some people love this team's version of the IP and other people love this team's version of the IP. But hey, at least there's people buying the games, you know? At least there's people buying the games. Yeah, imagine Fallout 1997, Fallout 2 2017, Fallout 3 2037, Fallout New Vegas 2057 just wouldn't happen, but it's currently happening. Yeah. Well, and again, like we just got used to it taking forever. It doesn't have to be this way. Again, back in the day, the idea that you'd have to wait from Fallout 3 in 2008 to Fallout 4 in 2015. That was such an insane length of time for Robert Altman when he was in charge of ZeniMax. He looked at that, said 7 years is unacceptable. So he went and found Obsidian and handed them the IP and said, you're going to make a game in between these two. And they did. 7 years would have been nothing. That means we would have gotten Fallout 5 in, 2022. Means we would have gotten Elder Scrolls 6 in 2018. we would have already gotten the Elder Scrolls 7. If they had stuck to those timelines that Robert Altman thought were unreasonable back then. Sure, dev timelines shifted. Yes, we tossed in Starfield in the middle of that. That extends things. But like, I just want to be clear. This is ridiculous. We just got used to it. And it's by having somebody that comes in and is not used to it, that is just a total outsider who is like, the hell do you mean it's taking 20 years to make another Fallout game? And she's just like, no. Now, it is too early to tell whether Asha is going to be a good head of Xbox. It's really easy to come in and identify problems. It's a lot harder to fix the problems. It's really easy for somebody to come in and be like, you have a fever and you are bleeding out of your ass. It's like, brilliant, brilliant, doctor, brilliant. It's another thing to fix it. And that's the thing, is that Asha's coming in. She's like, Xbox's X-hole is exploding. We got a problem. And it's like, okay, finally, somebody that acknowledges the problem that we've been seeing for a while. She's acknowledging the problems. Yeah, it's the parasite. Exactly. We had some bad fruit and veg. So she's coming in, identifying problems. Yes, the previous leadership seemed like insistent on never acknowledging any problems and acting like everything was totally fine. So she's acknowledging the problems, but fixing them is a whole other issue. That's a whole other challenge. And that's the one that she will ultimately be graded against. So I want to just be clear, as we've talked about Asha, I am optimistic that she'll be able to fix some stuff. Because again, at the very least, she's identifying problems. Phil and Sarah seemed that they just did not want to even talk about the possibility of things being wrong. Like, they literally did the bury your head in the sand and act like everything's fine thing. Like, it really is shocking how they just did not do a damn thing for like a decade. And even as things got worse and worse and worse, they're like, it's fine. It's probably fine. It's not a big deal. Whatever. Stop complaining. You're not a real fan if you're complaining. You know, like, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, Asha could fix all of us. I am hopeful she can figure it out. The problem is that she's also inheriting a mess at like literally the worst time in the game industry's history for fixing a platform, because hardware is ungodly expensive and everything else is like horrifying. So she's got an uphill battle, I'll tell you what. So even if, I mean, there's a chance, even if she is a capable leader and even if she identifies the proper problems, there still is a serious question as to whether or not where they are now can be fixed. I will say the one secret weapon she's got, the one thing that could totally change the dynamic and the equation of all of this, is that PlayStation seems to be actively being run by hamsters high on acid. Like, I have no idea what on earth they're doing. I don't think they do, because I think they're hamsters high on acid, and then they dress up in human clothes and pretend to be executives from Japan. I don't know what on earth they're thinking. No clue. But I'll tell you what, to further the chess analogy, because I love me some chess. When you're down a couple pawns, you got a bad position, pawn structure's ass, the end game you're charging into is totally lost. It's going to be tough to dig yourself out of that. You're probably just lost. That's where Xbox is now. They're down a lot of material. They have a bad position. They're in a bad spot. But their opponent just shotgunned 5 fingers of Fireball and at the same time drank half a liter of wine and ate a fistful of cheese curds. They might stand a chance. You know? Because even if you're on the back foot, if your opponent is drunk and puking, you at least have a chance. And that seems to be where Xbox is now. Like, they are going up against an opponent in Sony that is trying to do everything wrong possible. And they're doing a real good job. So I am interested in how this plays out, but we're gonna see. They've got pretty much a year to finalize all the plans. It seems like next summer we're gonna actually find out about PlayStation 6, Project Helix, all of that. So next summer I think is gonna be the real bellwether for how this plays out. I think Sony's going to continue doubling down on what they're doing. Asha just has to find a way to be much more dynamic, but you better believe at this point, Project Helix, I think, has a trailer for a new Fallout game from Obsidian. I think they have that probably in the summer. We probably get a trailer and potentially even gameplay footage of the next Fallout game before we see Elder Scrolls 6 again. Figure that one out. Praise be to Todd. Finish on that, Jacob. Praise be to Todd. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Todd. Okay. Thanks for being here, guys. Thank you. Let me catch up on these real quick. Katie Cat, thank you over on Twitch. Thanks, Loxy, for my sub. That's Captain Randy Dandy to you. Yeah, it is. Captain Randy Dandy. Thank you also, Loxy, for your resub. 22 months. Ooh, baby. Sarcastico, thank you for that, for those bits. Hello, Handsome. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great week, Handsome. Also, thank you for that. Luke, Microsoft complaining about Xbox not being profitable and at the same time giving billions to AI is a bit hypocritical. I think the difference is, with AI, they are investing in AI infrastructure, like data centers, server farms, that type of thing. That is stuff you invest in, you put money in because you want people to come in and rent out the data centers and you get money back out. So they're investing in the data centers. With Xbox, as Asha said, the problem is you would put $1 in to invest in Xbox and instantly lose 64 cents of it. So even people who are saying like the AI bubble is going to pop any day now, it's not that bad. Because as insane as all of this is, enterprises are still using cloud compute and all this for all of the AI stuff. And Microsoft is seeing increased spending and revenue from their data centers and from all of their Azure stuff and all of their cloud stuff. So they're not burning money when they invest it. People think that it will eventually blow up, and it might, but as of right now, you are burning more money like putting up money into the Xbox vending machine than in the AI vending machine. And that's the problem for Microsoft, is that they're like, okay, well, why would we put money in the Xbox vending machine if it's going to instantly eat it? Like, why would we do that? Over here, we're making money right now. Maybe in a month or maybe in a year or 2 years or 5 years, whenever the AI bubble pops, if it does, maybe then it stops working. This machine stops working. But right now, this vending machine is not eating our money. And we're getting money back out of it. You know, why would we put money in the thing that's just eating it up? Why would we? Let me, oh, it's frozen. Please hold. Roundtable Conference, thank you for the sub as well. Luke, did you see that because of all the Sony news, PS5 emulation is starting to be focused on? They've already got PS5, or got the GTA 5 menu to boot. Oh, really? Dude, they poked the bear. They poked the bear with this stuff, and I think that they don't even know what's happening. They don't know what's happening. They may end up regretting this, I'll tell you what. Not may, I think they will. Real quick, let me finish catching up on these. Draymond, thank you for the 5. Did you see the game in early access for 10 years, released a couple days ago? It's called Angels Fall First, Star Citizen Could Never. I did not see that. I will pull it up in another tab and look it up. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for the suggestion. And yeah, Star Citizen. Dude, I don't think they've officially delayed Squadron 42, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. They are apparently holding an event where they've invited some people to play it. And I don't know who's going. I'll have to get some contacts and see if I can like talk to anybody who's going. I think maybe Space Tomato and some of those guys are going. So I'll circle back to that. The Katakuras, thank you for the very generous 10 euros. Thank you, my friend. Greetings from Germany. Love your content. Thank you, my friend. Much love to you. Much love. Good to see you, my friend. 53 Nights, thank you for 15 months. If you had a gamer subs flavor, what would your name be? Todd Howard's Tears is my vote. Todd's Candle. Todd's Candle. It would be a delicious, like, autumnal pumpkin spice flavor. Just like the candle. I think that's what it would have to be. Chevy, Drawn Out YouTuber, did a funny Asha Todd bid. Dude, Drawn Out's in here in chat all the time. Love me some Drawn Out stuff. Yeah, he's doing great. I'm not sure what that bid is, but I believe it. We would have to look it up. Thank you for that suggestion. Luke's mold, how dare you? we call it candle wax. That could work. That could work. That could work too. Categories, thank you for the 5 as well. Do you think Obsidian is able to make good Fallout game again these days? Yeah, so they have a lot of the OGs still there. So I'm optimistic. But I mean, of course, it's just a matter of scope, scale, and what they're trying to do. I don't think they should try, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't think they should try to go straight to like Fallout New Vegas 2 or Fallout spin-off. Like, I know some people want Fallout in New Orleans. I don't think they should go straight for that. I think they should start with a remake of New Vegas, build out assets, build out their process, their tools, all of that. Figure out if we're doing Creation Engine or a wrapper around Creation Engine like the the Oblivion remake, or if we're just going to go all the way in through Unreal Engine 5, which is what they've been working with over at Obsidian for a while. They got to figure out all their processes, do that with a New Vegas remake, and then move on to the next thing. That's what I think is the best route, but that may not be what Asha wants. Asha may just want like a full-on new game. But I think a remake is a slam dunk, will make lots of money, helps them like figure out the process without having to take a lot of risks, and then the next one they can come out swinging with something totally crazy, right? I think that's the way to do it.
At something or another something 402 donated
Thank you.
$19.99.
Super
through
generous.
Super chat. Hi Luke. A video of yours inspired this question. For GTA V, do you think R** will have microtransactions in single player? Or do you anticipate
them sticking to using the Ultimate Edition upgrades and online for the RCS revenue? I think pretty clearly. Hold on, let me pull up. We'll do it live. I'm going to pull up their actual website. Okay. We'll do it live. Here we go. Okay. I think learn more. That's the button. Learn more. Good question, my friend. So the question is, from something or another something, 402 asked, do I think that GTA 6 is going to have microtransactions within the single player like story content, or if they're going to keep that just online, or if they're going to just have like the Ultimate Edition as the only thing? Effectively, do I think they'll have additional microtransactions available on the side for the single player stuff, or do I think that they'll just leave it as it is? I'm gonna be real. Yeah, I think so. I think it's gonna be pretty pumped in there. Just being real. And I think the reason is because, for one, they've laid the foundation already, as we've seen. So they've got the Ultimate Edition where they already outline like end pre-order bonuses. So they've built in systems to unlock additional skins and like DLC items based on what like is on your account. So they already have the system where you either have pre-ordered it, where it checks a box and then you unlock these items, or where you have paid more to unlock the Ultimate Edition and then you unlock that stuff. So like in terms of systems and like actual infrastructure, they've done the hard part already. So I think it just makes sense that they see this as money on the table. If they release future like skins, if they release future crossovers with fashion brands or whatever, that they put them in the single player and in the multiplayer, they'll do it across both. And the simple reason is because I think it's just so much money is left on the table by not doing it. I think it's just like, this is the most expensive entertainment product in history, and they need to make back the 2 to 3 billion they spent on it and they're going to make a lot of money for sure. They will turn a profit. This is not going to flop. Okay. Like, they're going to be okay. But I think that almost certainly they're going to do stuff like this. And they're looking at the competition, and they're seeing a lot of competition that's doing it, and that get away with it actively. There was a lot of hoopla this past week over like Black Flag doing this, for example. Like I saw this video from Inside Games Daily. They had this video where, like, this is just one of many videos like this that were made in the last week or so. Black Flag Racing launches with $84.91 in DLC, and this, like, was spreading around. You would have thought that the world was ending, and I don't like it. I called it out in my video. I don't like gameplay affecting microtransactions in single player games. I really don't like it. But the truth of the matter is that this gets called out with Ubisoft, but it doesn't get called out with games that people are more generally hyped on. Like, one of the easiest examples, everybody loves Monster Hunter World. Maybe not Wilds, but World. Have you seen the DLC microtransactions and stuff in this one? Yes, technically this is, it can be played single player, it can be played co-op. But like, they've got a crazy number of microtransactions in this game. It just keeps going and going and going. The game is amazing, but it's got this stuff. A better example is probably to look at like Resident Evil 4 Remake. Like, look at this. Overwhelmingly positive, all this, you know, it's a great game. You should play it if you haven't. It's very, very good. But have you seen all this? They've got upgrade tickets that they're selling, weapon exclusive upgrade tickets. They've got Mercenaries DLC. They've got glasses, skins, all sorts of stuff. And this stuff, I know for a lot of people, they don't buy this. They don't buy this stuff. And that's the fact of the matter is that this stuff exists for the whales. There are people that just like to look cool with a unique skin when they play through a game because they play through the game 50 times. And so they just buy through all of that. Like, I know it's weird, but there are people that do that. But like, who buys this? A surprising number of people. We'll talk about this in a second. Where did I put the tab? We'll talk about this in a second, but it's already estimated that like Black Flag Resynced made about $1 million on DLC. Like, the map pack for $5 had a 6.34% attach rate. Every $10 pack landed under 2.65, most under 2%. So the market spoke clearly. Players will happily grab a cheap $5 convenience item and overwhelmingly ignore the pricey cosmetic bundles the store keeps shoving at them. Like, that's crazy. But estimated, it's been much needed win for Ubisoft, selling 701,000 copies for $35 million in gross revenue. This is just on Steam, by the way. Plus almost $1 million more from day one DLC. Just on Steam. Okay. They had more players on console than just on Steam. Because remember, they sold 2 million copies at least day one. 700,000 of those were on Steam. So 1.3 million at least were on console. And they were also buying DLC. I would actually expect that that there's probably more likelihood of spending like DLC microtransactions on console. That's much more normalized over there than on Steam, it seems. But I could be wrong about that. But the point is, they make money. So to answer your question about Rockstar specifically, their fan base is coming off of like GTA Online. Dude, that whole game is about buying shark cards and microtransactions out the ass. I would be stunned if they don't do more in-game shop stuff, if they don't have multiple skins for vehicles, multiple skins for your characters, unique tattoos that are tied to DLC. Because even if it's $2, $3, $5, $10, a lot of people are going to buy them. And then you do a crossover thing, and it's also in online. You get it for your online character as well. Yeah, I think a lot of people will buy them. It just seems like money left on the table for them. So that's a very long way to say, yeah, I don't think they're allergic to money. They're going to do it. Some people may make a YouTube video and be perturbed by it. I don't think they care. And a lot of people, you know, even if they do try to make like a video calling it out or something, they'll be bullied by the masses. Because I think the average GTA fan doesn't give a crap about like a $5 tattoo pack. I don't think they care. I think they're like, yeah, no, it should probably cost more. I think that's probably what they would say. So, yes, I do think there will be additional microtransactions in the game. And they're going to do just what Capcom has done, what a lot of other companies, Ubisoft has done. They're going to do exactly what those other companies have done, which is put it in there because it makes money. Because why not? Why not? Let's see. Hey Luke, was AC Black Flag resynced really glitchy for you? I constantly clip into stuff. No, I actually, you guys know me. I typically am a bug magnet. I don't know what it is, but I just have a talent for it. But I really did not have any issues. Like I've seen some of the clips of people like, you know, clipping under their ship or something like that. I did not have a single instance of anything like that. I was playing on PC. I don't know if that makes a difference. Maybe it's more common on console, but yeah, I didn't have any issues. Maybe I got lucky. Let's see. Whoops, I scrolled too far. Wawawookie, thank you for the 5. Do you think the already in development project at Obsidian will be quickly repurposed to the new Fallout mandate and we get a game soon? It's possible because Josh Sawyer was working on a game apparently that he originally pitched as a Fallout game. Bethesda rejected it and then they turned it into whatever it was going to be. It's possible that they just rework it, but again, it depends on what Asha wants. If Asha wants a remake of New Vegas, then no, they'll put it on ice, maybe come back to it later. But it just depends on what she wants. If she wants a brand new Fallout game, then that's what they'll do. But it's pretty clear. Whatever Asha wants is what they're going to do. This does not seem like one of those situations where it's like, convince me. I think it's, no, you're doing this. So we just don't know what that is yet. There will probably be some leaks and reporting. But you know, until then. The Katakuras, thank you for the 5 as well. Do you think Obsidian is able? Oh, I just read that one. Thank you for that. Jazzy, thank you for that one. At this point, anything that gets Elder Scrolls 6 out the door is good. Well, and I have to wonder if Asha is worried that Elder Scrolls 6 doesn't live up to the 20-year hype. And so she's like, if we put other stuff out there as well, fans, there's not as much pressure on Elder Scrolls 6, you know? Just like if there's another Fallout New Vegas 2 or remake or whatever, there's less pressure on Fallout 5 because we've gotten other fixes. When you take 20 years, yes, it makes fans miss it more, but it also raises the stakes. Because if you blow that, fans are not just going to be upset or disappointed. They're going to be livid. They're going to be pissed that they waited so long for something lackluster. So we'll see. K Zelda, thank you for the 10. Very generous. Thank you, my friend. That's very nice of you. Hi, Luke. Did you see this game that just got announced called Black Tides? It's an open world pirate game from the Code Violet dev, so you can be skeptical, but sounds good or sounds ambitious. And I know you like pirates. That sounds super familiar. Hold on. Let me look. See if I've seen the artwork. You Google Black Tides and it's just a video about whales. Apparently there's a whale game like that. I don't see it. Curse of the Blackbeard. Is that what it is? Is this it? I'll have to look it up. Thank you for the suggestion. I'll dig into it. I'll look into it. Because, yeah, any pirate games I'm intrigued by. Thank you for the suggestion, my friend. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Grants Gaming Media, thank you for the membership as well, my friend. Thank you. Nate, also, thank you for that. Very generous 20 Australian dollar dues super chat. Luke, I've been in pirate mode all week watching all Pirates of the Caribbean and Lost in Black Flag. I went looking for some booty treasure maps, hanging with Bonnie, who hasn't left a poop on Edward's bed. Underwater is beautiful. That's true. She hasn't. My favorite random one, I saw a TikTok of a guy who was doing like spoken word poetry. And he was like, everybody always talks about how Amber took a dump on Johnny's bed. Nobody ever stops to remember that was her bed too. And then he just stared at the audience. Anytime I think about Amber Heard, I think about that for some reason. It's like, yeah, that was her bed too, guys. She also suffered. You know, she also was a victim of her own movements, let's just say. Her own motions. Let's see. Thank you for that one. Luke, notice how Forza 6 doesn't have a release date on the other consoles. Could it be Asha outing a hammer on it? Or outing a hammer on? Maybe like taking the axe to it. I don't know. I think there is a question. Let me back up. Let's be real. Like, Forza is going to print money wherever it goes. So I think that's one that she probably just wants to get out the door and do it. There are others that were probably internally planning for Elder or for PlayStation 5 that maybe now are not. So like Elder Scrolls 6, maybe that was originally a PlayStation 6 game and now it's like maybe not. But as for the stuff that's been announced, I think they probably stick to it. Just because I think the stuff they've already announced for PlayStation 5 is going to make money there. So, especially if the port's pretty close to done, whatever. Unless they think that the sales are going to be really negligible, which is apparently what happened with what game was it? There was one game very recently where they said like the PS5 port was basically done, and then it was canned at the last possible second. Which game am I thinking of? It was one that they just announced. They were like pretty much good to go with it, and then it just got canned, and they're like, okay, well, I guess never mind. Was it Gears? Maybe it was. I think Gears. I think you're right. Yeah, like it was like good to go. Saros. Oh, Saros, so say we all. I think you're also right. Maybe I'm mixing the two in my head. Because Saros was apparently like the PC port was good to go. And then that was also just like put on ice. Or maybe it's both. Yeah. Yeah. It's happened a couple times, it seems. A couple of times. Okay, real quick. Let's do, I guess I can touch on this real quick. Okay. New mini segmenting. So we have further analysis of the actual financial performance of Black Flag Resynced. Okay. This has, without a doubt, been the most successful Assassin's Creed game on Steam ever. That's not necessarily saying a ton because they only just started launching day and date on PC very recently. Previous to that, they would only launch on their own launcher. So, you know, it's not as simple as just looking at all of the games combined, but they had over 1,000 or 100,000 players peak just 2 days ago over the weekend, which is a very strong number. Again, AC Shadows wasn't close to that. Assassins, and that was the most recent one that launched day and date on PC. Yeah, they launched at 64,000. So Black Flag Resynced, a remake made with a much smaller budget, apparently, has peaked 60 months ago when it launched at 64,000 players. And I mean, that's a solid performance. But beyond that, we also have some further data. Alinea Analytics went through and collected a bunch of data on the behaviors and purchasing decisions of people on Steam. And then Reese Elliott put together this chart to kind of demonstrate it. He's the head of market analysis over at Alinea, and gives you a good idea of how this performed. So as you can see, Assassin's Creed just had its best Steam launch ever. It's been much needed win for Ubisoft on Steam, selling 701,000 copies for $35 million in gross revenue, plus almost 1 million more from day one DLC. All of those like skins and stuff and the map packs and stuff, they did actually generate revenue. Most of that crowd showed up early with peak daily active users of 416,000 players on day 2. This also, to be clear, this is Steam copies. So you saw Ubisoft announce 2 million copies on day 1. That does not, that includes Steam and console. So at least 1.3 million on console, you know. A lot of players. As you can see, in terms of the crossover, there actually is as you would expect, good crossover with Black Flag fans and Sea of Thieves fans and Windrose fans. I actually would have expected more players from Windrose to give it a shot, but they are very different games. Like, this is a survival game. Black Flag Resynced is not a survival game, so maybe it makes sense, but I would have expected this number to be a little higher. Beyond that, you can see that Shadows was the first Assassin's Creed to go day and date on Steam, and it set the revenue bar early last year. Resynced cleared it comfortably and did so while selling for less for $60 versus Shadow's full RPG price of $70. As you can see, on day one alone, Resync pulled $22.4 million on Steam, 2.35 times what Shadows managed on its own launch day of just 9.5 million. 4 days in, Resync's revenues via unit sales sat at 35.1 million cumulative versus Shadow's 22.2 million, roughly 1.58x ahead and pulling away. Against the pre-day and date era, it's no contest. Resync has out-earned Valhalla by 9x and Mirage by nearly 19x at the same point. A reminder of how much Steam has grown as a launch platform for Ubisoft in just a few years. This is one of the weird things that happened back circa like 2017, 18. I don't know if you guys remember, but like there was this big push by every major publisher to get away from Steam. So like EA put up their own launcher. Ubisoft put up their own launcher. Bethesda. I remember when BGS for Fallout 76 announced Bethesda Net trailer. Where is this? Do they even still have it up? They may not. They may not. Because, dude, it was save the date for the Bethesda 2018 showcase. Maybe if I do Bethesda 2018 E3, we can find it. Okay, hey, Todd. Doom, maybe I have to look it up with this. Bethesda Net was like their big thing, okay? Bethesda Net.
For free, and join me tonight on PC, mobile, or tablet, and any progress you make in the game will be carried over to the console versions through your Bethesda Net account. And now, let's take a look at the future of Legends and see why this isn't just.
This is actually.
Oh, does this even still exist?
This is easy to pick up. This is hard to put down. This is a 5-minute train ride.
I don't think this exists anymore. Bethesda Legends or Elder Scrolls Legends, like their version of Hearthstone, because let's be real, that's what this was. That's funny, dude. That's funny. What was the other mention? Elder Scrolls Blades.
We're really excited. Now, remember, if you want to be one of the first to play Elder Scrolls Blades or join the Fallout 76 beta, you need to go to Bethesda Net and register. It's easy and it's free. For all of you here with us tonight, thank you so much for joining. The party is going to continue afterwards.
Bethesda Net, yeah, that was the big push back in the day. And then they all abandoned it because it sucked. Shocker. People don't like having 15 launchers. And even if it's not that big of a deal to like open up the app, because like for me, it's like, oh no, I got to open up one more app on the tray, you know? We'll look at this story later. Well, like even if you have to do that, oh no, I opened up another launcher. It's not that big of a deal, but it is annoying. And even if 1%, 5%, whatever of your potential customers fall off and don't buy your game because they didn't see it on Steam, that's just stupid. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, it's just dumb. But they've all walked it back. Ubisoft walked it back. They're now launching day and date on Steam. You can buy it through the Bethesda or through the through the Ubisoft launcher, of course. And they would rather you do that, but you can buy it on Steam, and they're just glad to have your money. It's more proof the day and date. Okay, I read that one. Let's see. Resync's top 2 Steam markets by players are 30% in the US and China by 15%. The new market reach in Ubisoft has been desperate to build. Steam, not the consoles, is where growth is coming from for publishers nowadays. The loudest complaint online is the day one DLC. Players report $85+ packs with an in-game store nagging throughout. The anger is justified. It's a bad look. The top DLC by units was the $5 map pack with 6.3% or 3.4% attach rate. 6% of players bought the $5 map pack. That's more than I would have thought, dude. That's a lot more than I would have thought. I don't know about you guys. Like, it's just surprising. I would have thought that number would be way lower, but no. Like, that's surprising to me. That many people bought a $5 upgrade. Like that's just surprising to me. Every $10 pack landed under 2.65%, most under 2%. So the market spoke clearly. Players will happily grab a cheap $5 convenience item and overwhelmingly ignore the pricey cosmetic bundles the store keeps shoving at them. I think also the reason that they're more likely to go for the $5 pack is because they have the $10 pack that looks more expensive, and so the $5 doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Whereas if it were like $5 and $2, a lot more people would buy the $2, you know, just because of price laddering. But pretty wild. And this just goes to show you why they include these DLC day one, because they sell. Again, we were looking earlier when we talked about this point with or Steam. There we go. We were talking about this earlier with like Resident Evil 4, where, you know, people love Resident Evil 4 and nobody ever really brought up the microtransactions and stuff and how many they had in that. They also have these in pretty much every major Capcom game. They do the paid DLC because people buy them. The games are still really good without them, but they do it anyways. The thing I've tried to explain to people like at Ubisoft is that you can get away with this when you have a lot of goodwill with your fan base, and Capcom does. Like Capcom, they can do this because people know that Resident Evil 4 remake is going to be really, really good. They know that Resident Evil 9 is going to be really, really good. So they don't get too perturbed by that because they're like, yeah, the rest of the game is really good. Even this, I mean, 9 didn't do it. They did have costume packs. Maybe they do more in the future, like the deluxe kit and then the Grace costume and stuff. So they did have some microtransactions in DLC, but you know, it's for the hardcore players. They probably add more later. But I just think that they can do that because they have the goodwill that they've built up. If you're Ubisoft, you don't have the same level of goodwill. You can't do that. Maybe if you do 5 years of amazing, you know, Game of the Year contender releases, you can get away with it later, but you got to get there. And I don't think they're there right now. But just my 2 cents. Having said that, though, there is no way of spinning it. Black Flag Resynced has been a smash hit for Ubisoft. First one in a minute where there is no denying it. There's no debate. It's like, no, this is a very, very good outcome for them. Singapore seems to be a cheaper studio to run and manage as well. So their costs for doing this were much lower than making like AC Shadows. A lot of the tech was built up for Shadows, so they didn't have to do a lot of R&D. Like a lot of that was done for Shadows. And then they did some stuff, of course, with like the water tech specifically for this project. But a lot of those investments they've made over the last like 5 years were poured directly into this, and it's performed really, really well. And it's just good to see. And I think again, it's a reminder. Singapore made Skull and Bones. This is a talented team, a talented studio. They know what they're doing. Like, they can make great games. They can do great work. You just have to give them the right project, you know? You have to set them up for success with the right project. And that's a lot easier said than done. But once they get the right project, they can hit it out of the park, as I think they did here. Like, it's not a perfect game, but I think they did a really, really good job. And there's no beating around the bush. This has been a tremendous success for them. So Ubisoft is very happy, I think. But there you go. Okay, we should also probably talk. Oh, I want to talk about this because this is really stupid. This is really stupid. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Real quick, we're going to talk about a really stupid game here in a second. Or a game that I think looks dreadful. But we'll touch on it. We'll get there. I can't believe we're doing this. Okay. Luke, have you seen the trailer for the new game Alcest? Alcahest? I think it'll be better than the Elder Scrolls 6. Yes, I believe so. That sounds super familiar. Let me pull it up in another tab, make sure, but I believe so. I believe we have looked at this one. Yes. I have seen this one. I don't think it's going to be the same type of game as Elder Scrolls 6, but I do think that at least graphically and in terms of presentation, it seems to kind of put put what we should probably expect for Elder Scrolls 6 to shame. Let's be honest. That's why I'm so interested in these remakes and stuff that they seem to be doing, is that I think it's very, very likely that Elder Scrolls 6 ends up looking worse than a lot of these remakes and spin-off titles that we're going to get in the next few years, which I think is really funny, but that's just how it is. Okay. Rick Mott, thank you for the membership, my friend. Meta 318 Battlefield 6 new season trailer got me so hyped. I'll jump in since I'm not touching it since launch, or since I haven't touched it since launch. Glad to hear it, my friend. I haven't seen the new trailer, but I'll open it in another tab and look it up. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Glad to have you here. Whoops, I scrolled too far. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, Isadora, thank you for the membership, my friend. Appreciate you. Something, or something, or another, something. Thank you for that 20 again. That was super generous. Aurora, thank you for that 6. Hey, Luke, have you heard of the game called Mortal Shell 2? Looks pretty good. Yeah, it does look pretty good. I'm excited for that one. Looks like a good time. Looks crazy. I think we've looked at it a few times on stream as well. A couple of the trailers. YouTube Grid, thank you for that. Hey, Luke, when does our GTA 6 Trailer 3 NDA end? You think they share that with anybody? I wish, but no. I think that they probably are going to start really going crazy August. That seems to be the consensus, is August. They'll start to kind of rev up, and then it'll only be in the last like month that real marketing starts. So I think we'll get another trailer in August, and then the marketing will actually begin pretty close to launch. And I think that's what they're going to do. I just think they don't need to do anything more than that. Sean, thank you for the 10. Thank you for that one. Hi from Yorkshire. Yorkshire. Indeed. Good to see you, my friend. Just spent 2 weeks in Colorado and Wyoming, and you live in an awesome part of the world. Also, maybe these developers in Silicon Valley should move to Cheyenne. There's no one there. Dude, my little brother. Little background. Don't be mad at me, okay? Nobody be mad at me. Don't cancel me. I care. Okay. Just kidding. Cancel me. I don't care. Don't be mad at me. I know a lot of people in Cheyenne. I think Cheyenne is a beautiful little town. Come on. Give me a picture. Give me a picture. Give me a picture. Just a picture. Okay? Cheyenne is a beautiful little place. They got some beautiful buildings. It's a big, like, right on the plains. Okay? Very cowboy town. It's beautiful. Okay, I love Cheyenne. They have a bit of a drug problem. Lots of drug trafficking that goes through there. And in turn, there's areas where there's a lot of crime.
402 donated $19.99 through
Thank you.
Super Chat.
I'll let it read.
Part 2. What do you think changed for R since 2018? I'd argue RDR2's Ultimate Edition had the game primed for microtransactions, yet they held off.
It didn't finish reading it. Do you think the change is merely a reflection of more normalized practice? I will circle back to that, because that's a good question. Okay, thank you for the 20. Super generous. I'll circle back to you, okay? I'll finish the Cheyenne bit, and then I'll circle back. Like I was saying, Cheyenne, beautiful. I like it. Lots of drug trafficking. It's also on major highways, so it's a kind of cross point where a lot of drug traffickers come in and shuffle stuff. So there's areas of Cheyenne that you don't want to go to. My little brother calls it Chirac. It's a little funny. He calls it that because there's areas you do not go to. There's areas that are like kind of dangerous. And he has friends that have been in those areas and have suffered the consequences for it. But I've learned that if you tell people who live in Cheyenne, if you call it Chirac, they don't think it's funny. They don't think it's funny. But I'm saying that as somebody that lives in Colorado near Greeley. Greeley gets a bad rap. Greeley isn't the really rough spot. Evans is the really rough spot. Just saying. Having said that, I like Cheyenne. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, don't come at me. I think the right areas are also just gorgeous. I mean, there's some really, really pretty areas. But you got to be in the right areas. Having said that, yeah, I do love Colorado. I do love living along the Front Range. I often forget that people you know, travel here and like vacation here specifically for our views and what we see every day. You know, it's really easy to take it for granted because you're just used to it, you know. Like I look at a picture like this and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I think that's like just maybe 30 minutes from my house. Just get up there, you know, get really used to it. Really used to it. But you got to remember how gorgeous it is. Like, this is my hometown. Fort Collins is where I went to college. And it's just beautiful. It's just gorgeous. Right along the front range. See some beautiful mountains in the distance. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. But I often forget how beautiful it is, you know. Try Newark, New Jersey. Okay. Hell yeah. So, hell yeah. It's really, I love the nature of Newark, right there. As a New Jerseyan, fair. Honestly, okay, before I pivot away, people will say that like the Newark airport is really bad and don't fly in there. I was warned, don't fly in there. Don't have a connection in Newark. Dude, I had no problems. I thought it was a pretty nice airport. Cancel me. I don't care. I thought it was a pretty nice airport. I know some people get like constant delays there. I'm just saying, I've had a 12-hour delay in JFK. I have not had a 12-hour delay in Newark. Just saying. At times it sucks. The same thing with DIA. DIA, epic, massive airport, but I also totally don't blame people if they freaking hate it, you know, because it's so huge and because the turbulence is so bad. If you're not used to flying into Denver in the afternoon, dude, it is like it's bad. The turbulence is crazy bad, but you get there, you know, you get used to it. Okay, let's talk about this because this is really stupid, and then I want to circle back to that very generous $20 super chat, something or another. Okay. New mini segment. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I think, how do I want to start this? Something really fishy is going on with this game, and it's highlighted, I think, a major problem within games media more generally that I honestly don't understand how it's legal. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today is a game that I think looks horrifying, that I think seems to be doing a good amount of, like, I don't know if it's AI promotion. I don't know if there is some marketplace that's doing this, that is spreading this stuff. I don't know what's happening, but what I do know is that there are accounts that are just echoing the same exact things, like word for word, and it's just weird. So for example, GameSpot, they post this: Rockstar won't make Bully 2, but a new game will let you relive the horrors of high school. Okay, and then they have a picture of one of the characters in the game. This character happens to look exactly like the Green River Killer. Just saying, very similar vibe. Hate to be that guy, but I mean, he looks pretty on the nose. Just being real, pretty similar. Anyway, they post this, like, Rockstar won't make a Bully 2, but a new game will let you relive the horrors of high school. And then I've seen other pages like that are run by bots, like this one, Generative AI Prompt Engineering Basics, Nigerian Air Force, SOF. Okay. So it seems to be using AI tools. It's like word for word the same exact post with the same linked article. Like, what is happening? Furthermore, other outlets like IGN have started posting stuff, and they do this where, like, they link the trailer, and they will redirect from, like, their video on the trailer to the store page. And I think what's happening is that they get a commission, like an affiliate commission, if you buy the game through their links. GameSpot discloses this at the very top. IGN apparently never does on their YouTube channel or videos. So like they will make these posts, which are promotional posts for a game, which I'm going to show you in a second how horrifying this is. But I'm going to show you it. But they don't seem to disclose this on the YouTube pages or anything, and I don't know how that's legal. Like, you have to disclose if you get a financial benefit from promoting something. But I think they found a loophole where if it's an affiliate link, they don't feel like they have to disclose that. So even if they're referring something through a link that you don't like, that you just, if you click on it, if you're interested, it's fine. They're getting compensated that way. It's really strange. It's really, really strange, especially because you see them describing this stuff, and then they'll put the trailer and it looks horrifying. And the comments, there's also like a bunch of these, what seem to be bot comments. Okay. I just want to describe these. These are Rockstar doesn't drop another Bully game. Guess I'll do it myself. Gameplay of Bully with characters from Tony Hawk Underground games. The hell with it. Bully's not coming anyway. So I'll go with this one. Everyone, thanks so much for watching our trailer. Okay. We got Bully 2 before GTA 6. American Pie, the game. Day 1. Let's go. Great Value Bully 2 is kind of funny. I'll give you that one. But this is the game they're describing, okay? I want to show you. I want to show you. Okay, this is the game they're describing.
Man right here is our new student, Sam.
There's Cale Baines, the guy who thinks college is for chumps.
Ah, you're the new guy, huh? What's up?
Axel Philly, the wannabe rock star.
I got an F in English.
And you, Sam Tatum, the new kid.
So we can have the party, but my mom cannot find out. If she does, she'll go ballistic.
They made a plan to rock the last few months at school and leave their marks as legends.
They want to indoctrinate me even more into a boring fucking life and work 9 to 5 like some sort of mindless zombie.
Fuck thinking about college, dude. We need to stick to our plan to rock the school.
Rock the school.
But there's always something or someone getting in their way. Overbearing parents.
If you don't get into college, I'll throw you out of my damn house.
Perverted teachers.
It gets worse. It gets worse. The pervy teacher literally standing on the side of the house with binoculars staring at teenage girls. A little weird.
Perverted teachers.
You messed with the wrong one.
Nosy neighbors.
There are aliens in the forest, in the countryside.
Not to mention Seth, the most popular guy at school whose life mission is to make yours miserable at best.
So you think you can move to my town?
He's upset this kid moved to his town. He hung a noose on the tree and brought him out there. What? Like, what? Like, I don't understand. Like,
come to my school, embarrass me in front of my friends, and ruin my party?
Sid, you have to go now. My dad's gonna kill you. I'm serious.
But that doesn't hold these guys back from trying.
Whose panties are those?
Play as Sam Tatum, who saves the day in this rule-breaking coming-of-age adventure. Explore a fully decked-out campus
holding
in
the
quirky
bat
small
without
town
bending fingers.
in this open world inspired by the early 2000s teen movies.
Do you really think you're the first students to try to get into my pants this way?
What?
Her dad brought lipstick home from his trip to Mexico, and now they all look prettier than ever.
We drink as much as we could, go streaking to the girl we liked, and then tell her how much we loved her.
Now listen, if it's honestly a team of 5 11-year-olds making that, I respect it. Okay, I respect it. What I'm weirded out by is companies like GameSpot putting up promotional articles where they are receiving revenue And they are doing that at the exact same time that IGN is also doing that through like their YouTube channel, giving seemingly free promotion, but linking the game on Steam, which likely also gives them affiliate credits, or at least allows them to track it to get affiliate. Like, it smells fishy, right? It smells like there's some kickback to IGN and certainly to GameSpot for promoting this stuff, which seems to be slop as far as I can tell. But Luke, maybe the new trailer looks really good. Okay, fair enough. This is the brand new trailer.
When boys became men,
You're the only guy the girls are talking about.
cool kids ruled the halls, and hot teachers were the only reason to show up to
We
school.
don't need any more naughty boys around here.
Well, in the town of Agefield, 3 dudes were about to graduate and make their mark as legends.
You gotta prove yourself. With a little dare.
Inspired by the raunchy teen comedies of a bygone era.
Just like in the movies. You sneak in, wait until she starts showering, then snap a quick photo.
Oh my.
Okay, I don't want to come off as a square, but GameSpot and IGN are literally like actively promoting a game where apparently one of the quests is for you to take pictures of underage, like, minors while they shower. Let's play devil's advocate. Maybe it's an adult. Oh, okay. Like, what are we doing?
God.
Agefield High comes soaked in a pop-punk soundtrack and the colorful early 2000s.
Like, maybe I'm misremembering it. Like, Bully was irreverent, sure. Bully had a lot of insane stuff in it, sure. This is whack, though. Like, is it not? Like, this is whack.
Aesthetic. Live once again through awkward times.
You don't know him like I know him.
Embarrassing attempts.
Hey.
Cheesy moments.
Hey.
And things that teenagers experienced way too early.
No one gets pregnant on my watch.
Face perverted.
Based. That's a good security guard in a school. Looking around, making sure no pregnancy. That's a man with his eye on the prize.
Teachers around campus.
We know exactly what you're doing.
Fight dickhead jocks in the quirky small.
Dude. Hearing a professional voiceover going fighting dickhead jocks. Yeah, just not ready to hear a term like that used so confidently.
Teachers around campus.
We know exactly what you're doing.
Fight dickhead jocks in the quirky small town.
I heard you're getting ready to throw your own little party.
Don't hesitate to make an
my
awkward
God.
effort to get the girl you like.
Lisa!
Experience this small open.
That was a Room reference. That was a Room reference. Is this self-aware? I don't know if it matters. I mean, they just did the Lisa. You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
World game about 3 rebellious friends coming of age that want to make their mark as legends in Agefield High. Rock the school. At Agefield High, rock the school now to your wish list.
Coming a bit later to consoles. I mean, am I okay? You guys can be honest with
At
me.
Caleb's 92 donated
Am I being
$20
unreasonable?
through Super Chat. Hey Luke, my son would have loved this game. It seems so lighthearted, fun-loving, and has all of his interests.
That's good.
I miss my innocent little Joffrey, and I'm sad he won't be able to experience this.
I see what you did there. I feel this is a weird one to promote. You know, I feel like this is a weird one for them to be pushing. If there was like full disclosure, no, we just got the trailer and we put it up on our page. Like, then okay. But the fact that this is going up in articles promoting it, and then there's also disclosures that there's kickbacks for affiliate and advertising partnerships. As you can see, GameSpot may receive revenue from affiliate and advertising partnerships for sharing this content and from purchases through links. So, like, okay, they're disclosing it. IGN doesn't seem to be disclosing anything. And this video went up at like the same time. The trailer went up like the evening before this article goes up. And typically these marketing pushes happen at the same time. So it seems like, to me, what I would guess is going on is that this company is paying to promote this, and they're paying to promote it at the same time that they're paying for this article. But for some reason, IGN is not disclosing or doesn't have to disclose anything here, even though they're still linking stuff off and probably getting a kickback for promoting it. Like, it feels weird. If there is no benefit or kickback to IGN at all, respect. Still seems weird that you're promoting it, but whatever. But there's just something stinky about it. Like, there's just something stinky about it to me. It feels like there should be more disclosure than like a little subtitle on something like this. Also, again, I can't unsee it. He looks like a serial killer. Like, he just does. Does he not? I mean, it's pretty uncanny, dude. maybe I'm just being unreasonable. Anyway, there you go. That's the latest stinky, weird games media thing that just came across my desk yesterday, and I was like, I feel like I gotta talk about this. I've talked about this game a couple of times because it just seems insane, and now we're seeing like big outlets actively promoting it. It's just wild to me. It's just wild. But anyway, let's see. A moldy game, indeed. Yeah, the comments on the initial video, the initial trailer, were pretty resounding in one direction. But yeah. Oh, the other one. Which one was we looked at? Hold on, let me pull it up. Let me pull this up. Do you guys, before we go to the next, before I catch up on Super Chats real quick, do you want me to show you another really stupid example of games media being really stupid about stupid stuff? I feel like we probably should. New mini segment real quick. So you guys remember how, like, I think it was a week and a half ago or so, we looked at an article from Polygon where they reviewed, or they didn't review, they did an article on Red Dead Redemption 2 that was just simply titled, like, it's time to admit that Red Dead Redemption 2 is a terrible game. A patently ridiculous thing to say, but, you know, this rage bait is something that they've been profiting on, and, you know, I shouldn't be that surprised. But there is another article which I thought deserved a little shout out. It came to my attention from Hidden One, who clipped this little tidbit from it. And I didn't believe that this was real. I was like, there's no way that actually happened in the article on it, but it did. Eurogamer, who I've actually had blocked for a while. I've had it blocked for a year, 2 years or something like that. Ever since their KCD2 articles and like hit pieces, I had them blocked because it became pretty clear to me that they were not engaging in like actual games journalism or games media. It was just like rage bait, or they were like reviewing games based on outside factors that I don't think are appropriate or professional. I just think that it's ridiculous. They're just bad at their jobs. Humble opinion. Having said that, they did a review for Black Flag Resynced, okay? And honestly, like with a lot of reviews, you know, the first thing you do is that you look at the conclusion, because that's just what some people do. And they're like, okay, where are they going to land? And then you go back through, read through, and see the justification. Seeing that they gave it a 6 out of 10, which by most standards is like when it's converted to Metacritic, that is considered a bad score. I know some people think 5 is average. 6 out of 10 is considered, like for the American grading system, bad. Having said that, I like one of the lines that stood out to me. There's no plunder to be had here. We're just plotting a course we've sailed before. It is a remake, sir. It is a remake. So I would imagine you're going to be plotting a course that you have sailed before. So I'm not sure why we're there. Some of the complaints raised in this article are, I think, legitimately kind of fair. Like, they bring up the discussion of the new content that doesn't work well with the old content. I think that that's fine to bring up. That's totally fair. Some of the other stuff, describing how like some of the new lines are like kind of mismatched and don't work as well with others. But then there's one line in here that is just remarkable. And it's just like, again, sometimes it's like they're just begging in these articles to be made fun of and like to fit with the stereotype of like games media that is like TikTok brain rotted. Just like, look at this, okay? The Bones of Black Flag are 13 years old, a reminder of a Ubisoft that reveled in the delights of being the kings of the open world. Quest icons litter your Caribbean map as the developers gleefully sling story missions to and fro. Absolutely thrilled that you'll need to spend 15 minutes sailing from the Bahamas Nassau to, say, Mexico's Tulum. I fear attention spans have slipped in the interceding decade plus. I certainly struggled with some of the longer sailing sections. Sailing in Black Flag Resynced strained the ADHD, apparently. Like, that was too much. I certainly struggled with some of the longer sailing sessions. And I noticed I used fast travel a lot more in this version of the game than I ever did in my PS4 playthroughs. So like, and this is what I saw clipped. One was like, with this, an open world game is a good one, or is an open world being good is one thing. But when you actually want to traverse the open world without fast traveling is when you know it's a damn good open world game. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is exactly that for me, and only a few others managed to actually do this to me. Unless you're Eurogamer, who gave it a 60 on Metacritic, and this is one of their critiques, outright admitting they have no attention span, and because of that, they fast traveled everywhere, which is what they say. Like, the attention spans have slipped. I struggled with longer sailing sections, and I noticed that I used fast travel a lot more in this version of the game than I did on PS4. Similarly, a lot of the game's main quest revolves around the good old faithful go here and do this approach that was so prevalent in the 2010 era. I mean, I would argue most quests in every video game ever are go here and do a thing. Like, that's just kind of how doing things is. You go somewhere and do a thing. So I'm not sure I understand the critique. This isn't a bad thing necessarily, but next to the new missions injected into the experience, you can see how the older ones have aged. Dude, it is just amazing. Like, I think, again, new content not matching, fair critique. Makes sense, justifiable, totally lines up. Other things, like describing how, like, the in-game store being overdone. Okay, sure, I get that. Reused animations, totally understand that. Complaining that because a decade ago you had a longer attention span and now your attention span is worse, so therefore you fast traveled more, as if that's a critique of the game. Like, no, that's a critique of your brain. Like, it's just amazing. Like, again, you just walk straight into the stereotype and then you get surprised that people are like making fun of you. This is why, man. Like, it's just, at some point, it's just too easy. Like, it removes the fun from it. It's remarkable. It's like saying, well, I'm going to review chess in 2026. I used to play it a lot back in 2010. Loved it. Loved chess. One of the best games ever made. But when I try to play it now, I just have this urge to scroll TikTok while I'm playing. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Couldn't hold my attention. Game sucks. You'd be like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why? What? No, that's not chess. That's you. That's your brain. Like, what are you talking about? Put the phone down and focus. It's okay. Like, it doesn't make any sense to critique the game for your brain being poisoned by short form content. You know, like, what are we doing? It's crazy to me. Okay. What are we doing? It's insane. But for some reason, we just kind of like, yeah, that's a totally valid point. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So it reaffirmed for me why I have Eurogamer blocked. Again, you are free to disagree. We don't have to agree on games. Again, I agree with a lot of the stuff brought up in that review. A lot of the stuff brought up in that review, I think is totally, totally fair. But then you come out of left field with something so insanely stupid like this. How am I supposed to take you seriously for anything else? Like it betrays, I think, a problem with how you're evaluating the game. And this was the problem elsewhere with Eurogamer previously, where they wanted to ding the score of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because they didn't like the political opinions of the studio head. I mean, if you want to boycott a studio and their games because of the political stances of people involved with it, that's your right. More power to you. Go for it. That doesn't change the quality of the game, though. Like, if I found out that the guy that made my coffee this morning was a slithering racist, I may not go back and buy the coffee again. But if I'm reviewing the coffee can still be delicious. I'm like, this is the most delicious racist coffee I've ever had. I don't want to give that guy money, so that's a separate question, but the coffee's good. That's all I'm saying. Review the game. The game is the game. Evaluate that as a thing. And then there's a separate question of whether you support it, whether you give them money, whatever. But to try to squish them together seems ridiculous to me. And this is the same kind of thing where it's like merging an outside factor, which is that your attention span has been fried. And now you're trying to squish that together with the quality of the game itself. And it's like, no, that is outside of the game. That is literally a you problem. That your attention span is too poor to be able to sail a boat in a video game with sea shanties going. You know? What does racist coffee taste like? Hypothetically good. I didn't ask. Maybe I need to give a questionnaire to every barista to evaluate their stances on things. It's like there was one gay comedian. I forget who it was, but they had a whole bit I remember hearing where they went up and they were just describing, they're like, my friends are upset with me saying this, but I love Chick-fil-A. I love it. I know Chick-fil-A doesn't love me, but I love it. The punchline of the joke was basically that the homophobia makes the chicken taste better. It's like, I don't know what it is. The hate drives them and drives the flavor. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it. If anybody knows that comedian, let me know. We'll look up the bit. It's very funny and way better than I could ever do justice, but that reminded me of that. Yeah, it was made with hate. Yeah. It flavors it. Anyway, so there you go. Shocker. Another article being stupid about stupid stuff. You know, just is what it is. Let me finish reading this. Whoops, I scrolled too far. Okay, let me catch up on these real quick. Your turn. Thank you for that super chat. Hi, Luke. I'm behind the stream, but just wanted to say I bought AC Black Flag. I'm loving it, and first time I ever bought a Ubisoft game on release day. Easy W. Glad to hear, my friend. Glad to hear you're enjoying it. I've been having a great time with it. I'm trying to go for 100% completion, but I'm worried to look up, because apparently there are some quests that for some people are broken that prevent them from getting 100% completion. I'm hoping that's not what I've run into. I don't think I have, but I'm scared to look up if I've run into any problems like that. So I'm just chipping away through locations, clearing them one by one. Thankfully, the game plays really well on like the ROG, the Legion Go 2. So I've been able to just play it on the go or like laying in bed. It's awesome. It's awesome. Mateo Lan is the comedian. Ooh, somebody recognized the bit. Thank you, my friend. Oh my God. I tried to just click and drag that one little name and it dragged the entire window. Oh God. Oh God. Oh my God. Thank you for that. Thank you. Stand-up comedian in New York. Yeah, I'll have to find the bit. It was funny. It was quite funny. Yeah. Thank you. Maybe Jacob can find it too. Thank you, my friend. Shive, thank you for the 2. Will we get Elder Scrolls 6 gameplay or GTA 6 gameplay first? GTA 6. Like I said, I mean, this is the insane thing. Okay. Jason Schreier reported early last week that Elder Scrolls 6 was still at least 2 years away, which would put it at least 2028, possibly 2029. Because I think he said at least 2 to 3 years was his phrasing. So 2028 to 2029. Todd doesn't like to market stuff until it's close. So GTA 6, like I don't think they're going to market Elder Scrolls 6 anytime soon. after that, after the layoffs at BGS employees were saying they wouldn't be surprised if now Elder Scrolls 6 gets delayed. Which, if it's delayed past the point that they were saying a week ago, which was 2 to 3 years, that would suggest maybe 3 to 4 years or more, which puts it firmly 2029 to 2030 for Elder Scrolls 6. In which case, I don't think you see anything of this for like 3 years even still. So I would just not expect any I wouldn't expect anything. Yeah. I wouldn't expect it. I think we'll see GTA 6 way before that. Kirk Maxwell, thank you for the 5. Luke, do you think the Obsidian team will be considerate of the TV show, like timeline wise or continuity, or not care it was helping boost popularity? Well, that's the one argument for them not doing New Vegas remake, is that the show is moving on from New Vegas. So the goal may be to just do whatever maybe season 4 is going to do. Like if season 4 is going to New Orleans, have them work on a New Orleans game. And then, try to line it up with the show roughly. That would not be a bad idea. So there's some people that are like, why do a remake of New Vegas if they're done with New Vegas in the show? I think you could still do it and it would still sell stupid well. It's New Vegas, but I think that's an interesting take, at least an interesting perspective. Okay. Having said that, where are we going? It's going to be Colorado. Well, I think season 3 will be Colorado. I don't know where they go for season 4, but I think if they're trying to time it out, I think that they go somewhere like that. I think they go somewhere like New Orleans. I think that's a slam dunk. I think that'd be really cool. Hell no, the game should not follow the Mid-Ash show. Well, they're going to do whatever they think is going to tie together best. But I think, again, the best route, remake New Vegas and then do something new. Start redoing the thing everybody loves and everybody loves, and then go try something more risky that's new, The Notorious Capricorn, thank you. Thank you, my friend, for the sub with Prime, my friend. Thank you. Limits Break. Thank you for, I can't read. Limits Breaker. Thank you for 17 months at the show off tier, my friend. Thank you. Booyah. That gets 2 booms. Boom. Boom. Hold on now. I have to show the clip. I have to show the clip. You guys know what clip I'm gonna show. Here it is.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 Boom!
So sorry to hear about your brother who passed away. That gets 5 booms. Boom! 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 It's just so soulless. It makes me laugh every time. Boom. Anyway, to answer your question. Hey, Luke and chat. I hope everyone's doing awesome. Thank you and the bros for all the content and keep us up to date on all the foolishness in the industry. Fergus, blessings and take care. Thank you, my friend. Much love. Fergus, blessings be upon you as well. And give you peace. Sierra, thank you for that super chat. Please don't remind me about Uplay. Oh, I'll remind you, because I still have to suffer through it. I still do. Fantastic Gaming, thank you for the 6. Thank you for that. Hey Luke, have you seen the trailer for the game Outcast? Oh, we talked about that before. Yes, I pulled it up. I do think that looks really, really good. We'll probably do a deep dive when they release more like gameplay stuff. Tyler King, thank you for that 5. With games like Crimson Desert, RE9, Black Flag, genuinely, how do graphics get any better? I think it's just more about scope, scale, and dynamics. I've said for a while, I think the next frontier is in like NPC AI simulation. I've said that since before the AI boom thing started. So I don't mean like generative AI. I mean like actual just simulation. I understand that GTA 6 is implementing some stuff that may feel truly next generation. Like we've not seen pretty much anything of NPCs interacting with player characters in GTA 6. But if someone were hypothetically potentially in an alternative dimension to go and look at the GTA 6 leaks from years ago, even if you could, which you can't, then you might find out that some of the stuff they're doing in GTA 6 is like actually next generation. Like some of the stuff that they're trying to do with NPCs is actually like an evolution, like an actual leap forward. Whether or not that stuff was cut, we don't know. Because some of the stuff that they might have shown like 3 years ago that looked really, really cool, that may, I mean, it might be in the game. They might have cut it because it didn't work out. But some of the stuff that was data mined, hypothetically, from the game's leaks and stuff would suggest that there's a lot more dynamism within the game. Now, not the crazy, stupid life sim stuff that some people have suggested where they're like, every NPC has memory and they will take your picture when you commit a crime and share it on social media. And then that gets blown up and people will recognize you from your hijinks and they'll recognize that you robbed their father in the game because everybody is fully simulated. There's people saying stuff like that, and that's not the case. That's not what we're talking about. But we're just talking about more realistic dynamic behaviors and reactions to what you do, which I think is going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. People did download the 2022 footage. You sound crazy right now. You sound wild right now. That would even be possible. So it's no way. Downloading? I've never heard of that. Never heard of that. Oh man. Kazin Rendar, hey Luke, do you check the Streamlabs donations? I don't know if it just missed while I was cooking. It normally, or it's supposed to, play out audibly, but it may not have. I apologize if it didn't. It's been buggy recently, so I'm not sure. Can you just put whatever your message was in the chat? I do see there, yeah, a donation did come in, but it didn't give me a message. Just, you don't send any more. Just put it in chat, whatever your message was, and I will check. Okay. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Yeah, it just sometimes it glitches out. Anyway, I'll keep an eye out for that. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, the Pinkertons are in the chat. Yeah, I'm just saying, I've never heard of downloading anything, especially footage of leaks. I would never even think to do that. That's crazy. You sound crazy right now. But I think that that's the next big frontier. I do think that they'll continue to push stuff like ray tracing, like crazy reflections, and those will continue to get optimized and stuff. Generative or upscalers. They're describing, what did they call it? There's like the next generation upscalers that they're talking about are in the same family as like DLSS 5, and that's something that they want to eventually like push and make mainstream. Whether or not that works out for them is a whole other question. Like, let's be real. Because there's a difference between graphically impressive or like technologically impressive and what people will like. And this was pretty clear. People did not like this. You remember this? Like, this was everywhere, dude. This was everywhere. Like, it's wild. It's wild. It's wild. It's crazy. It's crazy. But they push this as like the next evolution of gaming graphics, and then they just disappeared. Stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. You know, and I think that to be fair, this is technologically impressive. Sure, that this is running in real time. That is, well, sort of. The at least as I understand it, to get this working, there had to be a GPU. I think it was like a 5080 or a 5090 that was running the game. And then they had a separate system, a separate GPU that was running DLSS 5. They said by launch, they'll both run on the same card, but they didn't have that working at that point. For the demos, but hypothetically, theoretically, it will eventually run on the same card. Who's dual 5090s? Okay, dual 5090s. Yeah, so two 5090s to get this working. That is still technologically impressive that it's working in real time, because it looks like it's basically just replacing the full face and putting like a TikTok filter over top. I understand that's not technically what it's doing, but that's what it looks like, okay? Even if it's not technically what's happening, it looks like it, you know? It's the same thing with like when you see Jaden Smith show up wearing what looks like a garbage bag, or Jaden Smith shows up and just looks straight up homeless. Where's an example like this? What are we doing? I'm sure this coat costs more than my car. Probably. But it looks like shit. It just kind of does, man. Like, you look like the Scarecrow as a work in progress. Like, what are we doing? This looks bad. Okay, even if technically it's really expensive and really cool and like really expensive. I get it. It looks bad, in my opinion. In my opinion. Okay. And that's DLSS 5 for you. DLSS 5 is Jaden Smith's jacket or shoes or whatever the hell you call these things. They are probably on a technical level impressive, but they look ridiculous, and I think they deserve mockery. Just saying. No way this looks like this because of lighting. Who, Jaden Smith or DLSS 5? I think like their stance has always been that this was just overhauling the lighting, that they weren't changing anything else. What appears to have happened, but then there was later reporting saying that no, it actually is a visual layer that's placed on top of the base layer, so it is basically drawing over top of it. I don't know what the people way smarter than me ended up figuring out as to what, like, which way it works or how it actually works. I'm not sure. But it seems to me like regardless of what's actually happening, it just doesn't look good. What's crazy is that this was pitched as like the evolution of gaming graphics. This was going to be pushed out, I believe, by the end of 2026. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think it was by the end of 2026. And it's been like totally abandoned. Like they just are not talking about it. They're not discussing anything. Even now, upcoming games are disclosing that they are supporting DLSS 4.5. They aren't showing footage of DLSS 5. They're showing 4.5, which is very funny. Very funny. It's imaging or imagining. I can't tell. IM2ing. I'm not sure. In real time. So yeah, that's very impressive. Well, exactly. Like whatever is happening here is impressive on a technological level. That doesn't mean that it's a product that I want. You know, it doesn't mean that it's a product that I think makes my experience better. It can be impressive and still be something that I don't want. You know, I can be impressed that these shoes by Jaden Smith were made by hand with crocodile leather and they were polished with the olives from a Mount Olympus or something. I still don't want to spend $10,000 on them. You know, I can appreciate the craftsmanship or what went into it. Be like, that's cool. Wow. I don't like it though. It looks bad. You know, like, cool. That's awesome. Or you can get these, wow. That's a choice. Huh. Okay. Well, every time I don't understand Jaden Smith. I think that's the takeaway from this. I don't understand Jaden Smith. Yeah, awful taste, great execution. Yeah. The idea is terrible, but the execution was really good. You know, this is the best delivery of a terrible idea I've ever seen. You know, it was really good. So we'll see what the hell happens with DLSS 5, but it's pretty clear they had to go back to the drawing board, and whatever they thought the response was going to be is not what they got. They got torn apart. Torn apart. Tell you what. Let's see. Something or another. Something 402. Thank you again for that 20. Very, very generous. Appreciate you. Part 2 of my question. What do you think changed for Rockstar since 2018? I'd argue that Rockstar's or Red Dead Redemption 2's Ultimate Edition had the game primed for microtransactions, yet they held off. Do you think that change is merely a reflection of a more normalized practice? I think for one, it's more normalized. You got to remember 2018 was 8 years ago. Like, we are talking about approaching a decade, last generation, pre the dark times with lockdowns and everything. Like, it was a different world in the games industry. And 2018 was also a period, you got to look at the broader context too. In 2017, there were multiple games. The two biggest ones were Battlefront 2 and Middle-earth: Shadow of War. They both included such aggressive microtransactions that it basically caused their parent companies, who are multi-billion dollar like international conglomerates in the form of Disney, you know, with Star Wars, and Warner Brothers with Middle-earth. They both had to step in and be like, enough. This is too far. Like, we're getting torn apart in every news outlet and press docket everywhere is talking about how greedy we are and terrible. Fix this. And so with Battlefront 2, they stripped out all of the microtransactions and stuff that they did initially, and they had to redesign the game's progression around it. And even now, the game is still kind of broken because it relies on those star cards that were initially basically pay to win. And then as for Middle-earth: Shadow of War, they did remove the microtransactions after launch, but the end game is still really wonky as a result. It's still way better now than it was, but even that had problems. So when you go back to 2018, you got to remember that that was only a year after a massive international scandal that was associated with over monetizing your games. And there were discussions from European regulators for stepping in and regulating those things. So if Rockstar tried to push the boundary with Red Dead 2, there maybe was a concern that that would go over really, really poorly. So that could also be a factor in why they didn't push harder back then. We just don't, I mean, who knows what the actual discussions were like. They could have pushed more and done like paid skins and stuff in that, but they clearly didn't. But I think it's probably because back again, 2018, it was just that era where right after 2017, it was a hot button issue you don't mess with. You just don't mess with it, you know? And I think that they were worried about pushing too hard. But maybe wasn't ever actually on the docket. They didn't think they'd make that much money. Also, how far can you monetize the Wild West? Well, that was also part of the problem for Red Dead Online, is that GTA Online, you can sell like apartments and sports cars and clothes and mad drip and weapons and shark cards for all sorts of other micro purchases within the game with the in-game currency. And there's all this stuff in monetization potential. But with Red Dead Online, like, I got my lasso is red now. My revolver that is in my hand, so you can't really see, is now plated with pearl. My cowboy hat is now black instead of brown. You know, it's like, where do you go with it? They tried with gold bars. Yeah, I remember that. They tried that. It just didn't work as well. And I don't think it ever was going to. I think it's just, as a concept, it doesn't monetize as well as like GTA, you know? Yeah, I have a zebra now. Zebra in the Wild West. Let's see. MJ Star Kitten, thank you for the 2. Tong Tong in Colorado Springs has the best Korean. Oh, I have not been to the Springs in a while. I have not been there in a while, but I just Googled it and they do have very good reviews. That's good to know, my friend. Thank you for the suggestion. I do love me some Korean food. I did go to Korean barbecue in Aurora like a month ago or something. Visited a buddy of mine down there. It was delicious. It was delicious. Beautiful space too. Really good. I wish I could remember the name of it. Really, really good. Sir Thomas, thank you for the 5. Hey, Luke, what do you think about EA taking out microtransactions of the new college football game due to backlash W for gamers? Go show you if you voice your concerns and also file a lawsuit, you can make change. Yeah, that's what really scares them. Sure does. But I think any step like that is a good one, because what's amazing is that of all the countries that are most aggressively anti microtransaction, it's actually China. Like China actually has very strict regulations over a lot of monetization and spending and stuff. Like they really take a very active role in trying to protect the citizens from spending too much and protecting those with like addictive personalities from spending too much. So like at some point you can't spend more than a certain amount, and there's all sorts of regulations they have. Maybe we do a deep dive on Chinese regulations on microtransactions because it's fascinating. Let's see. Like, for example, this just dropped 5 days ago. Chinese courts allow heirs to inherit the accounts of deceased gamers. Multiple cases spanning years establish precedent for digital ownership of games, in-game items, and microtransactions. Meaning that if you're in China and your parent passes away, that Steam library, for example, passes to you because it's an actual thing that is owned. It's not a license that expires upon death. It passes to your heirs, which is fascinating. You know, that China, of all places, is putting out things like this, which is just crazy, you know? But it's steps like these are the types of things that we should be rooting for also in the West, that like, yeah, you don't lose the rights to your digital purchases because you died. Like that should go to your family. Like, of course, you bought it. It's a thing you own, allegedly, you know? Like, what are we doing? I would watch the hell out of a China restrictions deep dive. I think it could be interesting. Yeah, I think it would be really fascinating to go through it. I'd be interested in it. My Steam library is going in the will. Dude, mine's pretty valuable. Mine's dangerously valuable. Don't tell my wife. Don't tell my wife. Oh my God. Please, please. Let's see. Firstly, love that membership video on the Wild review ride you had. So well done. Thank you for that. Curious about New Game Plus though. Yeah, New Game Plus, we're still working on stuff in the background. Our goal is to do the showcase in January. That's the goal. We're already talking with people, and yeah, that's the goal, is to do another showcase in January. Yeah, our goal is to ramp up with additional content in the next couple of years. But yeah, the most immediate thing for New Game Plus is the January showcase. So yeah, more to share when the time is right. Indeed. Caleb, again, thank you for that 20. That was very funny about little Joffrey. Appreciate you. So silly. Limits Breaker, thank you for the 5. Luke, this is Leslie Benzie's mom. Please don't judge a book by its cover. Agefield High is the victim of corporate sabotage. You YouTubers. Yeah, Rockstar paid me to say this about Agefield High. They totally did. Totally did. Not being sarcastic at all. Moonflower, thank you for the 5. Have you covered Palworld? It's addictive. Yeah, dude, Palworld's really addictive. My wife got mad hooked on it. It was bad. It's like all she could think about for like weeks. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Luke, how many Wiis do you have? I don't actually have any Wiis in my house. Jacob has, I think, 1 or 2 Wiis. I should get one, honestly. I want a Wii, and I want an old school GameCube. I think that would be fun because I always wanted one as a kid, but we couldn't get one. So I think that'd be cool. I should also get an old school PS2. I feel like I should have a PS2 just for collection's sake, you know? It's iconic. You can probably get them for like what, $30? I'm sure a PS2 is cheap, right? PS2, you get an emulator. Yeah, you can get an emulator, but I mean, that's not the same. Oh yeah, this says they've got them for like $78. Do they have them at, I'm sure they have them at what is it, Games Ahoy? I would think they're pretty cheap. How much are they, Jake? Are they really expensive? I literally have no idea. It says typically they run for between 100 and 150. Specialized retro bundles can cost up to 850, depending on the bundles available. Interesting. Yeah, road trip. Let's go get one. Maybe we do that for a members only video. That could be fun. That could be really fun. I've seen them for like 170 to 200. Okay. Support local game store and go get one there, Luke. Yeah, we have a couple that are close. I don't think they're a chain, like a big chain. I mean, they have multiple locations, but I think they're a Colorado-based chain. I could be wrong. But these Games Ahoy, yeah. 3 locations in Colorado. They got a Fort Collins, Loveland North, and Loveland South locations. Really cool little place. I bought a Game Boy from there. Jacob went with me and we got those, but they've got a bunch of retro stuff. And so maybe we go there. That could be really fun. Colorado. How am I supposed to say it? Colorado. My favorite is when my wife says Minnesota. Oh yeah, I gotta go up to Minnesota. It's very funny. Don't you know Minnesota? Christopher Burnett, thank you for the 5. I find modern games too easy. I just got a Platin 007 on purist mode with ease. Any recommendations for a game that is hard? I have Plat for all Souls games. I guess it depends on if you want to go vanilla or not. One that Armored Core 6 is a good one if you want a lot of challenge, especially if you want to crank some of the challenge runs. I don't know about the Platinum specifically though, but Armored Core 6 I remember being a nightmare for a lot of people. Beyond that, what also jumps out is trying to do Expedition 33 and finishing everything there. That one's tough. Sifu, oh, I could see that also being really, really tough. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, those jump out to me. Halo 2 Legendary will break you. Oh, there you go. You try Halo 2 Legendary. There are legendary tales of trying to figure out how to get through that. I mean, you're not going for a platinum in that case, but I mean, close enough. Well, the great thing for that super chat, that's not what Van Dijk looks. I'm sorry. EA Sports game with DLSS tanks performance a lot. It also doesn't let you turn it off sometimes. It's infuriating. Really? I haven't messed with sports games with that stuff. So I wouldn't know, but that's very interesting if it does actually tank performance. Shocker. Sports games are lazy and not optimized. Breaking news. Let's see. And then Christopher, thank you for that 5. What do you think Josh Sawyer could do to make this Fallout truly unique enough for Tim Kaine to join? He has said he isn't against making another one if it's different. I think, I mean, if you look at it narratively, there's kind of 3 core things that you can do to structure it differently. It's either how you start, how you experience the journey, or how the ride is intended to be finished. Like, I think for them, they could try it in a way where, like, I don't know, you could set up the premise a little differently. I don't personally like BGS's setup for most of their Fallout stuff, because a lot of their premises, or I mean, I guess they only have 2 to point to because I'm not counting Fallout 76, but like Fallout 3, you're just chasing your father around the wasteland as he does all the cool stuff, and then you're just kind of following in his path. Feels just kind of weird and like weird. I don't know. Same thing with Fallout 4. You're just following your son around, like, effectively. It doesn't land the same. I think what they could do, I actually like the way that Elder Scrolls sets it up, where you start as a prisoner with a blank slate. You can give yourself a backstory, or you can choose to leave that behind. I think that's really good for roleplay. And I'm assuming that Obsidian wants roleplay to be at the core of their Fallout game. I don't think they want to do just like open world adventure Fallout, So I think that they could try to go more with a blank slate in terms of where you're starting from. I think the setting within Fallout is also really crucial. The Fallout London DLC mod pack or whatever demonstrated how different a Fallout experience can be if you set it in a totally different, unique space. That's why I've always thought that, like, New Orleans could be really fascinating to go to. I've also thought that doing something like Fallout, but in like their version of basically Orlando. So like you're exploring their version of Disney World, even though yes, timelines are iffy, but you know what I mean? Like you could do that where you have like theme parks with different lands to explore within it. So you have a bunch of different like microbiomes effectively within one larger map. There's all sorts of cool stuff you could do to just put the game in a totally weird place and just explore it and see what happens. Put it in the Mall of America. You know, there's all sorts of stuff you could do. It's kind of hard with Nuka World. Yeah, but I mean, anything can be massaged to make it work if you really want it to work. I think that there's very few things that you couldn't make work. I just think it's got to be something wacky and different. Because if it does just feel like more of what we had before, I don't think that's that interesting. Like if they just go and do it like, oh, it's not West Virginia now, we're going to the middle of Tennessee, I think that will effectively feel in terms of a map like Fallout 76's map. And so I think they got to do just something totally different. Set a Fallout game in freaking I don't know, Oregon. So like I think the foliage, I think the environments matter a lot. And I think you got to explore and try something totally different. Cheyenne unironically could be cool because you could do a whole like game where it's Fallout, but it's much more Western than it would have otherwise been. And I think that could be really interesting. You know, I think the setting is crucial for Fallout because the setting is in and of itself a character. That's why New Vegas works so well, because Vegas is Vegas is Vegas. So yeah, Fallout in Hawaii, that could even be interesting, dude. Like, what does that look like? I'm sure there's a lot of interesting lore implications for that, but yeah, I'm sure that they could tackle that if they really wanted to. All sorts of stuff. Dude, I have one of these like mats, one of these like hard mats that your chair rolls on, so it's not just on the carpet. But dude, it's like crunched, so a bunch of it is cracked, and every once in a while I roll on it and the wheel gets stuck. I need to replace it, but I don't want to. It's such a boring thing to replace. Anyway, we should talk about this real quick. Okay. Notorious Capricorn, thank you for the sub, my friend. As for the Night Warden, also thank you for that 100 bits. I didn't know sailing a straight line took so much brain power. Apparently it does. Or maybe it's because it doesn't take brain power to just sail and take in the music and the sounds and the waves. Maybe because that doesn't take much brain power, it like leaves his brain to wander, so he needs to pull up TikTok and scroll. I don't know. It is funny though. Okay. Honest question in chat. Represent your opinion. Okay. Let me just get to the point. New mini segment. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. Put your comment, your answer to the question in chat. You'll pop up in the stream clip. Okay. Cool. Honest question, everybody. If the next gen consoles launch next fall to winter, let's say November of 2027, who among you is buying that for, let's say, the average price? I'll be conservative. I think it's going to be more than $1,000, but let's say $999. Who among you just say yes if you're buying it, no if you're not? Okay, we're going to let this scroll and see where you're at. Me, close enough. Buying it. Okay. No, me, yes. No. I see a Jesus. I see a good number of no's. Like a shocking number of no's. That's crazy. Granted, across both platforms, we have like what? I don't even know, like 2,000 people in here, 2,000 plus people in here. We have a good number of people in here. 2,200 people in here. Jesus. We, I think that we're seeing pretty clearly that there's not exactly a lot of excitement. I've said that the biggest problem for the games industry right now is that normally next gen console launches have excitement and anticipation. Right now, there's dread. Right now, people are just bracing for how stupid expensive it's going to be and how they're going to take away controllers out of the box because they need to save money and they're, not going to pass the savings on to you. It's just going to be $1,000, but no controller. How it's going to have, 128 gigs of storage because storage is expensive. Like, also all digital, no physical. Like we're just braced for nothing but bad news, right? Well, this is all stacking up at a time where these console manufacturers are seeing pretty horrifying red flags everywhere. A gaming analysis firm just did a whole rundown that was reported on by gamesindustry.biz, where they looked at the performance and projected performance of these consoles through the end of this year, going into next year, and what that would suggest for next generation console performance. And it is abysmal. Like horrifyingly bad. Game console shipments expected to decline 19.5% to 33.9 million units in 2026. Quote, the market faces a compounding problem. Hardware that's either too old or too expensive for all consumers or for consumers, and a thin software slate outside of a handful of tentpole releases. It is kind of the 1-2 punch that really kills any momentum for gaming hardware. And right now, we're also in this weird spot where nobody wants to buy a PlayStation or an Xbox because they're really expensive. And we're also in this weird spot where we are allegedly close to next generation. So if you've still not by this point bought a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X, it's pretty tough to justify unless you really do just want to get one for GTA 6. And there are going to be some people like that, but it's really hard to justify getting it at this point, if you don't have one yet. And you add on to that there's not really a massive lineup of tentpole, specifically like exclusives that are going to push you into the console. There's just not much reason to do it, especially with stuff going day and date to PC with third-party publishers and everything nowadays. Other publishers like Square Enix are trying to move away from exclusive console deals for things like Final Fantasy, and it just seems like this is the way things are now. What they say, quote, is game console shipments are expected to fall 19.5% this year to 33.9 million units. A report from S&P Global Market Intelligence Kagan attributes this decline to higher console prices implemented to address the ongoing RAM and storage crisis, which is making consoles less affordable for consumers. This decline reverses the gains following last November's Switch 2 launch, which had increased global console shipments by 13.5% to 42.1 million units. S&P's console forecast, compiled in July of 2026, includes only home gaming consoles from Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. The data firm projects console shipments will fall to about 27.1 million units by 2027, with a gradual recovery to 37.4 million units by 2030. Quote, a critical assumption underlying our forecast recovery period later in the decade is that the component crisis eases sufficiently by 2028 to allow Sony and Microsoft to bring next-gen hardware to market at price points in the $600 to $800 range. So again, their analysis assumes that Sony and Microsoft cut costs. Because what's guessed right now is that in 2028, the consoles, or 2027, if PlayStation follows through on their plans, they will launch in 2027 at $1,000 probably for the PlayStation 5, or PlayStation 6 rather. Probably more. Let's be honest. It's probably like $1,200. And this analysis assumes that they cut prices to get down to $600 to $800. Now, do I think Sony will willingly lower prices? No. Do I think Microsoft, with Asha specifically trying desperately to regain market share, do I think she could see price cuts and sales and stuff? I think that's much more likely. I don't think Herman is going to cut costs or do anything unless he's absolutely forced to. But if you get to a situation where the PlayStation 6 is $1,000 or is $1,199 or something like that, and then this Project Helix goes from a launch price of $1,199, but then they cut it to $999. And then they cut the price again to $899, and they cut the price again to $799. Then I think Sony's got to sit up and start cutting costs and tightening margins, because at that point, like, what's your excuse? Do you really think the average gamer is going to buy your console for 50% more just cuz? Probably not. Probably not. So, but again, they're assuming that they're getting prices down to $600 to $800 by 2029 and 2030, which is a stretch. Like maybe I would love for that to be the case, but that's a stretch. And it's safe to assume if the prices don't drop to that range in that time frame, that these numbers are even worse because there's no rebound or recovery. Quote, for now, the market faces a compounding problem. This is what we described earlier, that prices are too high and there's not a lot of tentpole releases and a macro environment that keeps any meaningful price relief off the table. This is part of their forecast where you can see hypothetical series successor in the form of Xbox is the red, the dark brown orange is the hypothetical PlayStation 6, and the Switch 2 is seen here. So they're anticipating a spike of Switch 2 sales in 2028 because of some big launches that are expected around then. I think, if they get another Mario, if they get another Animal Crossing, you could see massive sales spikes for those. Those things sell ridiculously well. Same with like big Zelda releases and things like that. But notably for 27, they're expecting it to drop even further. But this is fascinating. They really are projecting that the PlayStation 6 is going to continue widening its margin, which it might, but I think that you got to really ponder the significance of the burning of goodwill that PlayStation's been doing. You cannot burn as much goodwill as they've been without some sort of consequence. Like, I just don't think you can. I'm being real. Like, I think that there is going to be an impact. A lot of these people, I think, are going to be leaving for PC. And we saw it in chat. A lot of people saying, I don't think I'm doing $1,000 for a console. Like, that's really tough to justify. Why would you? I think that this becomes much more compelling. But you can see just in terms of overall volume, how we're talking like eventually hoping to recover to 2020 levels of console units. We're not even talking about, fully beating it. We're just talking about the ideal situation is by 2030 getting back to where they were in 2020. S&P forecasts the Switch 2 sales of 17.1 million units in 2026, comparable to the original Switch's second year performance and similar to the Wii. Nintendo's latest full year results project Switch 2 sales will decline 16.9% to 16.5 million units in its second fiscal year after launch, alongside a $50 price increase impacting sales. S&P notes that compounding matters is the lack of a clear software tentpole in the near term, since the major title Pokemon Wind and Waves will not launch until late 2027. And it doesn't sound like they think that something like Dusk Bloods is going to move a lot of units, which is interesting. PlayStation 5, sixth year. PlayStation 5 shipped 17.1 million units across all models in 2025, a 15% decrease year on year, and they expect shipments to decline further to 13.2 million units in 2026. Due to the ongoing RAM crisis, Sony increased prices for all PS5 models in April of 26. The base PS5 rose from $550 to $650, digital from $500 to $600, and the Pro from $750 to $900. Barbour noted these figures are challenging for consumers considering a 6-year-old device, and the gap between PS5 and PS4 sales is already negative and widening. He also questioned whether the highly anticipated release of Grand Theft Auto 6 will be compelling enough to offset the higher price, even with a strong demand for compatible hardware. Quote, that framing does not inspire confidence for 2027 or beyond. Our forecast models a potential PlayStation 6 launch in 2028, contributing 4 million units in its first year and scaling up to 17.2 by 2030. This is what's really interesting, though. Look at this. Microsoft shipped 3.2 million Xbox Series X and S consoles this last year, marking the lowest annual total on record. Quarterly shipments fell below 500,000 for the first time in the S&P's dataset during Q1 of 2026. The S&P forecasts 2.5 million Xbox Series units sold in 2026, with a, quote, rapid wind down towards zero thereafter. Now, I'm no business tycoon myself, but zero is not a number you want when discussing sales units of anything. I think it's safe to say that's bad. That's not what you want. Barber attributes this significant decline to, quote, an uneven first-party software library, a subscription-first strategy that did not noticeably improve hardware sales, and pricing that now puts an Xbox Series X's $100 or Series X $100 above a standard PS5. Xbox's next-generation console, codenamed Project Helix, will likely support both Xbox and PC games, as well as backwards compatibility, likely resulting in a higher price point. And every time that Sarah Bond talked about it, going back like a year or 2 years ago, she always described Project Helix as an enthusiast device, a premium enthusiast device, which at the time sounded exciting, but then prices quadrupled. Now it's less exciting, because that means that if it was going to be a premium exclusively priced, like really high tier budget thing 2 years ago, before the price hikes, imagine what it costs now. That's why I think the Helix is like 1,200 plus minimum. Like I was saying, I would expect 1,200 plus 2 years ago. So imagine where it's at now. I mean, God only knows. Barber highlighted the risk that this approach could limit the console's appeal to a narrow, more enthusiast-oriented audience. S&P predicts the next Xbox console will sell roughly 2 million units in its launch year, scaling to 7.3 million by 2030. Again, not exactly what you want. Again, that's 7 million compared to 17.2 from PlayStation in the same time frame. They're anticipating 4 million units for the PlayStation 6 in the first year and roughly 2 million in the first year for the Xbox. So 2 to 1, but that's roughly what they're expecting. The actual outcome could look very different. A fully open PC platform with Xbox branding could not really resemble a console.
I have been loyal to PlayStation my entire life, with PS2 being my first console as a kid. I will be fully moving to PC for the next gen with what they have done.
I think you and a lot of people, honestly. It's just, you reach a point at the cusp of every generation where people make a choice of where they go. It's what this chart really does demonstrate it quite cleanly. Like, where you hit this point, they're assuming 2028, like right here is where the next gen starts, somewhere between 27 and 28. And you can see, like, they have to project that there is some pivot where people slowly stop buying the previous generation PS5s and Series X's. They're anticipating that Microsoft probably just completely stops manufacturing and selling the Series X and S, which I think is a fair assumption. I mean, they basically already have stopped manufacturing them, but they're going to slowly stop buying the PS5s, and then they move over and they start moving these units. But this represents a choice for a lot of people to choose to go to PS6, to choose to go to the next gen Xbox, or choose to go to PC. And I think a lot of people are going to move to PC. I'm just being real. And I mean, for one, it's anecdotal. Anecdotally, my friends and the people in my friend group that have historically been console gamers, a lot of them are saying, I think now's the time to go to PC. A lot of them have been wanting to do it anyways. I mean, they're scrolling TikTok, they see viral games like Mecha Chameleon, all of their favorite streamers are playing it, and they're like, that looks really fun. I'd like to try that, but I don't have a PC. Maybe this is a reason to get one. You know, I think stuff like that probably does more to sell PCs than even, you know, PlayStation's stupid mistakes. But PlayStation's constant mistakes recently, I think, is at the very least an incentive to... It doesn't, maybe it greases the wheels a little bit. It makes it a lot easier to get the ball rolling away. You know, you would hope that they'd be trying to claw and get their hooks in you to keep you from leaving the tent that they have. But instead, it seems like recently PlayStation's like, no, please go. And they're like helping kick you out of the tent because they're just doing everything to shoot themselves in the foot. So I do think that is going to be a significant thing that happens. I think what you're expressing, where you're going to pivot to PC, I think a lot of people are. I really do. And I don't blame them. Come over to the PC side of things. The water's nice, baby. Water's nice. No paying for online. You get Steam refunds. You can buy through any online vendor that you want. You don't have to go Steam. You can emulate, hypothetically. There are, I've been told, ways to play even games that are on console. There's ways to play those on PC, I've heard. I would never do that. I would never. Couldn't even think of doing anything like that. But it's still. I think a lot of people are going to do that. But there's there's no it's more money and no physical. Well, who's going to tell him? No physical. I think the no physical thing, I don't think Sony's backing off of. I think they're sticking to it. I think Xbox also they've been planning to go no physical for a while. It seems like the only place that's still going to actively be doing physical media for probably at least the foreseeable term, if not indefinitely, is the Switch 2 with Nintendo. So if you really want physical media, it seems like the Switch is the place to be. On PC, though, you can actually preserve your games. Like, you can actually buy DRM-free games. You can go to stores like GOG where you can buy them and there's no DRM. You actually own the software that you download to your computer. You can put it on an SSD, bring it with you somewhere else. You know, you actually can have it. So doesn't really apply. Yes, it's not a physical disc, but you do get to actually own your games. There are ways to do it. Of course, it's on a case-by-case basis because some publishers and developers won't allow DRM-free releases of their games, but there are potentially ways, I've heard. hypothetically. But beyond that, I think it's there's also been there's been research done on the and specifically lawsuits filed against places like PlayStation for their sales strategies for how they price things, because effectively when you only have one store that you can buy anything for your hardware through, inevitably there's going to be less incentive for them to put anything on sale ever. And you see this now. I mean, I'll go to like a Walmart or a Target, you'll see a game on the shelf physically, and that physical copy is on sale for like $20. You check the PlayStation store and it's full price at $70, because there's no competition. There's competition in the store. They only have so much shelf space, so they have to put this on sale because they need to replace it with the new game. So they got to get that off the shelf so that they can put the new one in its place. So they put it on sale to get it to move. Digitally, there is no incentive to ever do that. There just isn't. And you could say, yeah, digitally also on PC, that's the same thing. But the difference is on PC, there's multiple marketplaces. That's what is the big problem for people being like, well, Steam also doesn't have, or Steam, PC also doesn't have physical media. That's true. They're not selling CDs of the latest PC games. They're just not. I mean, maybe somewhere they are, but as far as I'm aware, that's not a common practice. But the difference is that there are countless different online vendors and marketplaces. So whether you buy through Epic Game Store or Steam, or you go to Ubisoft Store, or you go to GOG or Green Man Gamer, any of these other places, they're all competing with each other, and that drives costs down, which is good. Floppy disks. Dude, I wish we could get back to floppy media. Can we please? I'd buy it. It is weird that we're now at a point where if they announced like physical media for PCs and it was like something you plug into your PC through one of the USB drives up top, and then you like get a cartridge for a game, I think people would actually buy those. I do think if they announced that like there's a new format they're doing for physical media, and that physical media, it comes on these like cartridges you buy, it's like $10 more than the digital versions, I do think people would buy them. I really do. It'd be fun. Luke Floppy Stevens. Hell yeah. That's good. Oh my God. It'd be so cool. Dude, just imagine if it was like basically like those old, Game Boy cartridges, but now it just has like a little SSD on it. It's a little more expensive, probably a lot more, honestly, nowadays, especially with how expensive NAND stuff is. But if it was even like $30 more, $40 more, and you could buy like a physical cartridge that had Red Dead 2 on it, click it in, I'd be convinced. Dude, I tried to play Red Dead 2 on a plane recently. Couldn't get the damn thing to launch because the Rockstar launcher needed to connect to the internet, and it thought because I was on a plane that I was using like a VPN, and it flagged its thing, so it refused to connect. So even though I had downloaded Red Dead 2 to play on the plane, I couldn't play it. It was ridiculous. Like, I don't remember this being a problem, but dude, it drove me crazy. Yeah, pissing me off. Luke, why are you so weird? Well, I've always thought it was something I ate when I was little. There was one time I was really little and I remember accidentally drinking a cup that had vinegar in it. My older brother was doing a science experiment on the kitchen counter. He had a cup full of vinegar, and I think he was just going to combine it with baking soda and do like the little volcano thing. But I was like 3, and I drank a little bit of the vinegar because I thought it was just a glass of water. And when you're a little kid, you're like, oh, water, just grab it and drink it. So I drank a little bit of the vinegar, and I thought it tasted horrible. And I looked over and I saw a basket labeled science. I was like, oh my God, I just drank poison. So little like 3, 4, however old I was, me went up and I laid in my bed, and I remember laying in my bed and crossing my hands on my stomach as I just stared at the ceiling as a little kid, just waiting to die because I thought I had drinking poison. And so instead of asking for help, I just went and laid down. I was probably older than 3. I was probably like 5 or 6. I don't know. And then after a while, I wasn't dead. And so I went back downstairs and I walked into the kitchen, and I'm looking around, And I see my mom just walk over to the cup. Oh, Joe left the vinegar out and dumps it down the sink. I was like, oh. And I just went and played. But I remember for a solid hour that afternoon, I was very, very sure that I was just going to die because I drank poison. And I just went up and I laid down and I was like, this is it. This is it. Turns out, no, it's just a little bit of vinegar. So maybe that's what did it. Maybe that's what did it. Yeah, figure that one out. Yeah, I wonder how old I was. What house was that in? I think I was probably like 6, maybe. I wasn't that little. Because I think that might have been in Colorado, but I'm not sure. A stoic from an early age. Yeah, I told my wife that story once, and she was mortified. She's like, why wouldn't you tell someone? Why wouldn't you ask for help? I was like, I don't know. I just thought what was done was done. You know, I was like, I drank poison. Guess I got to deal with it now. So I went and laid down, waited to die. I just was like, oh, well, you know, take the sip. Shoot. Anyway, like, I just was like, there it is. You know, it is what it is. Yeah. I don't know what that says about me, but there you go. I inhaled Lysol, says Jean-Claude. Don't do this. Not advice. I inhaled Lysol when I was a kid at like age 5 and wanted to call the person or poison control number on the back. My dad said, if you're sick at the end of the month, we'll call, as a joke. I thought that hit of Lysol was still going to kill me for like 2 years. Oh my God, dude. That's crazy. Dude, that reminds me, little kids, they hear stuff differently. They hear weird things and they interpret it weird. Like my mom told me a story of how when she was really little, she was on her like aunt's lap. She had this aunt that they knew and loved, that they play with all the time. And this aunt was like playing with her as like a little 3 or 4 year old girl. And they were talking about things and there was something on the shelf. And my mom, as a little girl, is like, what is that? And the aunt says, oh, that's invaluable. It's a family heirloom. It's, you know, it's very, very valuable to me. And my mom turns to her as a little 3-year-old and is like, oh, well, how am I valuable like that? You know, am I like that? And her aunt said, oh, sweetie, you're priceless. Which means like your price, you don't even have a price. You're off the charts, right? My mom heard that and thought, you don't have a value at all. That's how she interpreted it. Oh, do you guys want to meet little Missy, the newest member of our family? Romeo's sister arrived. Hey, baby. Oh, you look tired. Oh, you look tired. This is Freya. This is Freya. She's Romeo's sister. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Wow, you taste like Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, I wonder why. I wish I could have some. She's a little baby princess. She's adorable. She's been playing with Romeo, and I think he has been exhausting her. But you're a trooper. You're a trooper.
At one point, she laid down on one side of the door, and he laid down on the other side.
Oh, really?
On the glass door. So I let him in. But he has no chill yet. So he has a hard time. Like, she just wants to lay down. She laid under the table.
Oh, you licked the microphone? A little bit of ASMR for you guys. He's such a sweetie. Yeah, she is doing very well. She is a little princess. She is a lazy bones. She sleeps all the time. But yeah, she's very, very sweetie. She's a sweetie. How is wifey doing? Nikki described herself as one of the parents from Charlie Brown.
That's not. I said I was Miss Bellum from the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, that works too. It was something like that.
I wanted to feel cuter than that.
Because her head's always just barely cut off.
Just barely here.
Yeah. I mean, you could.
Nah.
No? Okay.
I don't want to squat. Nah. This is where's it out. Oh.
It's a little more mysterious this way. I'll tell you what. But yeah, we're hoping we got her because Romeo was very bored. So we got little Missy to help exhaust him. But we're also kind of hoping that she also helps mellow him out a little bit, which might happen, or he might just hype her up and she turns into a little gremlin as well. I love him. He's my boy. I love him. But he's got no chill. I mean, he's like an 80-pound bull in a china shop. Like he'll come in here and try to eat Legos. So I want him to be able to chill with me on stream, but he has no chill. So I'm hoping that he takes some cues from her and learns to like take power naps. That's my hope. That's my hope. See, she's falling asleep right now.
Down. He paces.
Yeah, he's too busy.
She is the opposite. He's like pacing, and she goes, "Okay, that's enough," and then went under the dining room table and slept there for an hour. Okay.
Yeah. No, at one point yesterday, I brought her in and she ran under one of the beds and she's like having fun playing, running around. And she went under the bed, and because it kind of forced her to kind of squat down and lay down, she's like, oh, this is kind of comfy. And she just turned her head and passed out for like an hour. She's like, I'm tired. Even now, she's asleep. She passed out that quickly. She's just a baby.
Watch, she has narcolepsy, and we just don't know.
Look how cute this disease is. It's so cute. No, I think you're doing great. You're just a puppy that's growing. Sure are. I've got to take her to the vet in a few minutes.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Wasn't sure.
She's just a baby. She's just a baby.
Potato.
Try having 3 huskies. Oh, Typhoon, you're brave. You're brave. I've heard
sung to all the time.
Yeah, I've seen the videos. Of, yeah, they're very loud. Very loud, very talkative. This is a golden retriever. Yeah, she's a Goldie. I've always wanted a Goldie. Don't tell Romeo, but I've always wanted a Goldie.
Romeo's our parking lot baby.
Romeo is a parking lot baby, but he's such a sweetie. But she is adorable, and just a precious little ball of sunshine. She's very tired though. She's very tired though. She get her injections yet? Yeah, she's got her whatever week
First
checkup it
round
is.
Today, and then the second round before.
Yeah. So like Romeo, while she's this little, Romeo can't go to the dog park because he might bring home like Parvo or something. So he's got to just play with her at home for the next handful of weeks while she gets her shots and everything. But yeah, she's a sweetie. I have 10 dogs at home, but in total we have like 20 dogs. Dude, that's crazy. That's bold. I don't think I'd be able to do that. I've got Disney Princess and I got Romeo, and I already feel my hands are full. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Okay, sweetie, I gotta shut down the stream.
She's like, don't make me go back up there. She keeps trying to make me sleep in the kennel.
Oh, good morning. Oh, good morning. Oh, good morning. Oh, it's good to see. Oh, back to bed. Back to bed.
Did a car ride today, and she just slept next to the console. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, she likes the car. How are the cats doing so far?
Finley was nose to nose with her.
Yeah, Finley is big enough. I mean, Finley's bigger than she is. So Finley's like, are you going to be an ally or an adversary? Hermione, we probably won't get a good feeling for how she's handling it for like a handful of days. Yeah, she's much more like, I'll wait it out. We'll see.
Scratching the couch, so she's let me know she's not pleased.
Yeah, she's
like, not happy.
What the hell? Yeah.
Like, y'all, I just got home and there's a thing here.
Yeah.
We did not agree to a baby.
What is this? Oh, you're such a sweetie.
The kids love her.
Yeah, well, Ori has a little stuffed animal that looks just like her, and so when we brought her home, he goes, "I've been looking for her." Like he's like, "I've been looking for months trying to find this dog, and we found her. It's great." 53 nights. Oh, she's like, yeah, she knows it too. That's the dangerous bit. But anyway, Finley will gain her as an ally. I think so. She's very friendly. She's just kind of a couch potato. Like that's the thing. She loves to play. She loves to get up and hide, but she is a couch potato. She wants to sleep.
And hide and sleep too.
Yeah. But you go, Mama, while I shut down the stream? Because we gotta go do shots. Like, what are those? That sounds like so much. Is that fun? Oh, sweetie. She's just so precious. Yeah, she's a pure Goldie. Yeah, she's a Cutie, cutie, patootie, patootie. Even her little eyelashes. See if you can get close to the camera. Like, look, I'll get out of the way so it doesn't focus on me. Like, even her little eyelashes are like this red auburn color. She's just gorgeous. She's just a princess. Yeah. Anyway, what are her thoughts on Sigismund? Do you have any thoughts on Sigismund? Her silence is deafening. That should tell you everything you need to know. Let me finish catching on these super chats real quick, and then I will we'll wrap up. Much love, baby. I'll see you in a couple minutes. Okay.
You used to talk to me like that.
Used to pet her paws too. Not her king, I see. Yes, exactly. Let's see. Where do I leave off? Okay, at that point, just buy RAM. The cost will be the same. Dude, yeah, the RAM is insane. Skurbrand, thank you for the 5. I'm not only selling my PS5 because of games like Wolverine and a couple others. Otherwise, I haven't plugged it in since I moved 6 months ago. Dude, I was shocked how little I've used it too. I plugged it in, and I like had to do tons of software updates because I hadn't had my PlayStation turned on in months since like Saros. And that was only one of the places. That was this one. The one upstairs I hadn't had plugged in a while. Like Saros was good, but it's just like once every 3 months there's a game I want to play. Like it just hasn't hooked me. Let's see. Major Gamer, thank you for the 10. Very generous. Thank you. If consoles are going to force all digital, I don't see a reason to stick with console. I've owned a PS5 and Xbox console, or every PS5 and Xbox console. Just bought a 9800 X3D and then a 5080 first ever PC and leaving console. Dude, that's a good one to start too. You are set up for success with that. My goodness. Congratulations. That's wonderful. Let's see. Celtic Fox, again, thank you for that 20. That was super generous. Super generous. But I think, again, what you guys are echoing is that you are long-term PlayStation fans who are leaving, you know? Like, I don't blame you. Moby, thank you also for the bits over on Twitch. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Wabawookie, thank you for the 10. Maybe they transition to branded TVs that read GPU and game console all in one. Kind of streaming went to attachment to fully integrated in TV UI now. Oh, that's interesting. Like if they integrated everything. They might try to do that. That still drives costs up though. I think their ultimate ideal, let's be honest, these like corpo execs, their ideal situation is to get everybody just cloud streaming everything. Because then you have to use their data centers, you have to use their infrastructure, you have to pay monthly for it with subscriptions, and you'll own nothing and be happy. Like I think ultimately that is the end goal. I just think it's not going to go over too well because the audience doesn't want it. And as long as there's one holdout offering an alternative, which seems to be PC, that's just the way to go. Because I think that's where gamers want to be. They don't want to do the streamed gaming stuff, even if they try to force them. Walter King, thank you for the 5. The limited edition run of the System Shock 1 has a fake floppy disk that actually was a USB stick and had the game on it. Really? Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's fantastic. And then Hype Not IQ, thank you for the 4 months. Luke, do you think Sony/PlayStation will ever give a response to all the controversy? It's clearly not waning at all on social media. No, I think they're just going to stay quiet and they're going to hope it just blows over. And that's going to be that. I think that's just how it's going to be. They're going to be all silent on the Western Front. I think that's what it's going to be. Whether that works or not, I don't know. At this point, I do think that the outrage has quelled a little, like it's calmed down a tad, but whether or not that allows them to get away with it, like I think it'll just pick up once they try to do another thing. Like certainly once they reveal the PlayStation 6 and games start launching digital only, it's just going to reignite. So I don't think it's going anywhere. And then JL, thank you for that too. Is it possible Sony could do cartridges like Switch? Is it possible? Yeah. They don't have to use discs. The problem is that like the two things that are most expensive right now are like storage and then like specifically like RAM is extremely expensive because all of the manufacturing facilities are being basically bought out by data centers who are ordering way more and way more expensive stuff. So you could go to cartridges, but that's just like the cost of those cartridges are just going to skyrocket as well. So there's no easy like get out of jail free card on this. Like realistically, to get a cartridge printed that has a modern game fully on it, that cartridge probably costs them like $80 alone to manufacture right now. Like, it's just insane. It's just ridiculous, but that's just how it is. So there's just no good fix. Like, none of this alleviates until probably 2028 to 2029. That's just seems to be what the smart people are saying. You know, it's crazy. But anyway, Kazdan Rander, thank you for the sub over on Twitch, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Good to have you. Okay, fam. Like I said, I've got to take little Miss Freya to her vet appointment. So I'm going to go do that. Thank you for chilling with me. I will be back possibly tomorrow. I'll see what the schedule looks like if we've got stuff. I want to do some more reactions and everything. We didn't get to everything I wanted to do today. So we'll have more to talk about then. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thank you also, Brandon. Brandumart. Thank you, my friend, for that sub. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Hugs and kisses. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one, okay? Much love. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye. Mwah.